Survive.
No, I'm not saying I'm not going to survive. My voice is going to be... It'll be fine.
You survived OVO. You'll survive this.
Oh, dude. The weekend was great.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't go to sleep bed till 3. We didn't go to bed till 3 on Saturday.
Why?
Because we ended up going back from the dinner, and we're like, all right, let's just stop by the bar real quick. So I'd meet Andrew over there, and so we ended up till going to bed going back to our rooms by like 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Jeez. That was 2 nights in a row you did that?
Yes. And Sunday I went to bed at like 11.
Nice.
So I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I'm out. And then did you guys go shooting on Monday?
No, it was
Why
$200.
not? What?
$200 for like
I don't think it was
four guns and like 25 rounds per gun.
That's crazy. I mean, it sounds like an awesome time.
I told the Swedes
shooting Tommy guns and stuff, but
they gave me a wide-eyed look, and then they said, "Oh, we got a budget for next year." I'm like, all right. We're supposed to meet him on Sunday, but his wife, Carl's wife, wasn't
his
feeling
wife was
well.
there.
Yeah, that's who the blonde girl was when we were that night. She was there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't. We're live, so I can't tell this other story.
Yeah, don't. What's this on the table?
Don't make me laugh, man.
Sorry. That's the message I got. He said to leave it on the table, so I'm leaving it on the table.
Who, that one? Who'd you get that one from? That message from?
Jeff.
No. Okay.
Yeah, it's over Facebook.
Oh, he saw that, or you showed it to him?
No, he just said to leave one on the table.
Oh, bottle. Oh, okay.
Sure you can what? Sorry, Best Buy, I missed that. Sure you can.
Oh, tell the story, probably.
Oh, yeah.
No, I can't.
Probably not.
It involves people drinking too much and getting uncomfortably close to the opposite sex. Not me, by the way.
Yikes. Can I guess who?
You're most likely right. You don't even have to guess, because he's been like this before.
Sweet. Good times. Good times. No, we'll put it in outtakes for another day.
That's a story that's like burn everything down type of story.
Ooh, I like to burn things down. And I hope by burn things, we're talking about relationships.
Yes.
Okay. That seems fine to me.
My God.
Story time with Adam and John. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Yeah, that's true. We should probably abide by that.
But I don't like this person.
But that doesn't matter. You should still stay in Vegas. It's like a social contract.
Well, in that case, I'll break whatever social contracts I want. That seems to be the thing.
I thought we were going to discuss social contracts too, weren't we?
We are.
The social contracts,
but not right now.
So, if you can't tell, Vegas was a lot of fun. Even though I had to leave on Saturday night, and not be there for Sunday, and miss all the action, which we'll get to later. I missed all the good rounds. State of the Union. Sorry. Yeah, no banner today. We whatever. We got lazy.
We got lazy, and
I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah, we couldn't do it earlier. John has kids. He has to put to sleep. I do not. I make it a point. I don't watch the State of the Union, no matter who's at it, who's giving it. So
I usually do. I actually usually make students watch part of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch clips in class with the students.
Okay, I can do it for you right now. Everything's great. I'm great. We're awesome. Done.
I heard part of it, and that sums it up pretty well.
That can be the same speech for the last 10 years, for all I know.
It's true, because you don't ever watch any of them.
No. And that's probably what it is. I'm doing great.
Yes, it is a healthier option, I think, yeah. Yeah, you do kind of have to. I teach social studies to junior high kids, so I don't really have to.
You just do it to torture them.
Yes, I do actually. Yeah. A little bit.
It's the little things that count.
Yeah. Elementary art. Like finger paint and shit. That's awesome. Okay. All right, well, welcome.
We got 1 minute. We got 1 minute.
And I'm John.
We got
just
1 minute.
switched over. I started at the exact right time. Dude, get on point.
All right. Well, hey, everybody.
Get on point.
Adam here.
John.
John. Missing a third, who shall be here soon.
He will. He'll be here soon.
I'm still suffering from con crud, so the voice is still a little raspy.
And I don't catch con crud.
Because you leave early.
Yes.
That's why.
That's true. This is a good point.
Um,
Who's better speaker, Horace or Trump? Horace.
Oh, Horace, easily.
Yeah.
That's not even a question.
Come on, bro.
You get paid to play with crayons.
That's awesome. Do you just like draw pictures of the emperor all the time?
That would be funny.
And then make the kids go, what's that? Gosgold would be better than Trump, yes, as a speaker.
More eloquent, anyway.
Screaming wog is better than screaming wrong. I think. At least in my opinion.
So welcome to the 40K podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This is a 40K podcast. And we're going to be discussing the Las Vegas Open.
Yes.
Because we just had judged that.
We just did that.
Mm-hmm.
Literally yesterday. I got back yesterday. You got back a little bit earlier.
Yes.
From what we can tell, Reese just got back today.
Yeah. We just got a message from him that he's home right now.
So, which he reports to us every time he goes on trips because we're concerned.
Yes.
So...
Hey, Brent.
So, yeah. So, it's... Oh, my God. It was just... I can't even describe how...
Crazy. Packed. Full. Fun.
Yes.
A little bit of a nightmare.
Yes. It was fine. It was fine. So we'll quick, just so everyone knows, if you haven't watched this before, normally we don't script stuff. We actually have a script for today. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we did actually write stuff down for
Well,
the first time in a long time.
So we're gonna quickly go through what we experienced, and then we'll talk about some of the major things that happened over the weekend, including what everybody's talking about.
Nice.
So me personally, I was there from Thursday to Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very good time. We did the Friday night meet up, and that was great. We saw the Swedes again, and Carl brought his wife. Brett was there, and
Yes.
Ben was there, and a bunch of other guys, Anthony, and
Reese and some of his guys showed up and
afterwards.
Mariana
And yes, it was. We went to the Thursday
GW
seminar, which was fun. We got to sit in front. We got to big time.
I got to ask two questions.
I asked.
They let me ask two. And the second one, he didn't really want to call me for. Did you notice? But I was like one of the only people with my hand in the air, so he was like, okay.
Yeah, because the first one you asked about 4-year-old rules.
That's true. Hey, but I buttered him up first.
But I asked one that people actually cared about, which was the app.
Yes, that's true. You did ask the one
which they said they're working on, which to me is just blowing me off. But what do I know?
Well, they've also posted the other places that they're working on. So yeah, that's fine. Hey, Fleet of Claw.
So that's Andrew, the guy we drove with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we drove down with my brother driving, John and I, and we took Andrew, who's Fleet of Claw, in the chat. Mm-hmm. And there is Ray, who is probably
happy birthday, Ray.
Happy birthday to Ray.
Yeah.
And your beard.
And your beer, probably.
So
Diogo. Diogo.
Okay, and the chat's over.
Okay, that was a nice show, everybody. See you later.
And wait, where's the ban button?
Oh, man. Okay,
so we drove down with Andrew. Andrew, for those that don't know, is from the Heroic Intervention podcast. He happened to be down here to go to Disneyland. Yep. So I decided to be nice.
Yes. I
decided to be a sport and pick him up from Disneyland. Gave John's OCD a little wankiness.
Yeah, I know. Sleepy John in the car. I guess it was Sleepy John. I sleep in cars if I'm not driving.
Yeah.
That's just
he's very alert.
Yeah, I'm very. Hey, you know what? Every time you said my name, I responded.
Yes, you did. That's why I didn't think you were sleeping.
Right. No, it's just I've honed my father's skills,
which I can't do because I'm normally driving.
Right.
So we drove out to Vegas. John, Andrew, myself, and my brother. Mm-hmm. I think you were sitting in front.
I was,
because we needed one white person in front in case we got pulled over.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
That's from experience. So we got there. Andrew was actually playing in the friendly.
Yes.
Just so people know, there were 5 judges.
Oh, yeah, there were 6 judges.
No, 6, 5. I don't know. I can't count.
Okay, so there was
math is hard.
You, me, Danny, Matt Root, and
Chris Morgan.
So there's 5. And then your brother was kind of he wasn't really a judge, but he was like 40K helper.
He was
helping out with BCP. He was helping out with tables. Your brother helped out a lot.
He was the helper.
So we should give him credit. John helped a lot.
But he wasn't a judge, more importantly. He wasn't as important as us.
We should just make him a judge next year.
Yeah, he could probably give just as good as answers at this point.
I gave great answers. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
I was the only one who got the stupid Reaver question 3 times.
Friendly equals bad players.
Oh, Ray.
Wow. Wow, Ray. Wow.
All right, then.
Well, he did get the same prize you got. Nothing. So, there we go.
All right, well, to be fair, we got the same prize, didn't we?
Yes. We got stress.
We got stress.
Some stress.
Yeah, we are volunteers, in case you're wondering. We don't. We volunteered to do this. We're not paid a wage.
Yeah, we're not paid to do it. We volunteer to do it. I do it because I enjoy it. It's the same reason why I ref.
Diogo, it could have been 6, as long as you're not including yourself.
Yeah, I know. If that's the case, it could have been 7. So we did get to go to the seminar.
Yeah, that was cool.
We asked a couple questions, saw the new codexes. The fire slayers looked really good for Shadows, Shadespire.
New Necrons.
New Necrons.
We were interviewed by Warhammer TV afterwards.
Yeah, I don't even know if it went on air. I like that you're holding the mic.
I'm holding the mic for you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
And so going into that, we go Thursday. We did that, and then Friday was we'll start with Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So typical issue with BCP, just too many people.
Yeah, I mean there were so many other events going on that weekend.
Paul
was describing that on one of the I think it was the ITC tournament organizers page.
Yeah,
he was explaining how like there was so many other events, and then I guess they hadn't cached one of the pages properly, so it kept getting pinged so much that the Amazon like took the page down or whatever. Something like that, because it's all hosted through Amazon.
Okay.
And because Amazon runs the world.
Right.
They're even getting into healthcare. Did you see that today?
No.
Yeah, Amazon and two other companies are all teaming up to like take on the healthcare problem because like the government can't do it. So like we're spending too much on healthcare, so let's figure this out.
I'm mildly disturbed by that. I don't know why, and I don't want to know why.
Hey man, if I can just order my prescriptions off Amazon.com.
I don't know why that bugs me. It just does.
Whatever. And then Berkshire Hathaway was one. And then where was I going with that?
I do not know because we got sidetracked. About the servers.
Yeah. So I guess it didn't get cached right, and they fixed that like pretty quick. They figured out what the issue was and fixed it pretty quick. So and then at round 2 there was the issue of all the data got deleted.
Right.
Round 2, which there was the rumor that it was my fault. That originated in a private group as a joke, and it got out to the regular population. And I had people coming up to me and going, "Hey, so is the rumor true?" And I'm like, "What rumor? What are you talking about?" And they're like, "The rumor that you caused the crash round 2 in BCP." And I'm like, "No, this is not true."
I had 2 people ask me that.
Oh my god, that's all Anthony's fault. Anthony Odell, that's all his fault.
Yeah,
just so everybody's aware, that's his fault. He started that fake rumor, fake news.
Oh my god, here we go. All right.
But so other than those 2 things, like it went pretty smooth. The first day was pretty smooth.
First day was fine. Well, okay. So we'll talk about this now since we'll go day by day, I guess.
Sure, Friday.
So round 2, there was an army that was not 3-color minimum.
Yeah.
But I think originally the judge was called to make a call, and they just happened to notice that one of the armies wasn't 3-color.
Mm-hmm.
One of the head judges was there.
It was at another table.
Oh, was that a different table?
It was a different table.
I wasn't. To be honest,
it wasn't either of us that this happened with. But somebody got called to the table like next door, like like that, and they saw it, and then they asked others of us to make a drive-by and see. And then we came back and we decided that it's not 3 colors, and we have to go talk to this guy. And then I wasn't involved in the first one either. So I think it was Matt and Danny went. The first time, right?
Was it Matt or was it Chris?
I think it was Matt.
No. Okay. So anyway,
whatever. It doesn't matter.
Unfortunately, Danny couldn't be here today. Otherwise, he'd be on with us. So apparently, well, you were kind of there to watch it.
I was only there for one part of it. I guess they explained to the guy that it's not 3-color minimum.
Right.
And some of the stuff's not based, and you can take the round. You can take a concede for this round. And you can go paint it.
And then come back. Splash a 3rd color from there.
His opponent said, I'm willing to give up 30 minutes of the match, go put some paint on these things and come back.
Right.
And he said he's just going to drop.
Well,
or something along those lines.
He colorfully.
I think the colorful language came the second time.
No, it was the first time because that's
really?
what. Yeah,
well, see,
I remember that.
I wasn't there for that.
He used a lot of colorful language.
Sure. Not
that,
directed at the judges, though.
Not at that moment.
Not at that time, right?
No, and then said he was going to drop.
Be patient, Ray. He's on his way.
At that point, the judge at the time, I believe it was Danny, accepted that and began to walk away.
Right.
Apparently, a couple minutes later, a little bit longer, the player decided to change his mind.
Yeah. He didn't want to drop after all.
Went to Danny.
Given the same options.
Danny gave him the same options. At that point, I think because of the language used, and I believe it was being directed at Danny at the time, basically we just let him drop. He'd already stated he had dropped.
Yeah, Danny just said, I'll take you at your word.
And you dropped. Yes.
That's all.
So the player wasn't DQ'd, technically. He dropped.
He dropped.
And it wasn't, and one of the head judges dropped him, not like to be honest, everybody at the LVO, all the judges at the LVO
We're the same.
Are the same. There's no one
head judge.
Everyone's called head judges.
And if you want a second opinion, you're welcome to one from another head judge.
Yes.
But we all carry the same weight.
Yeah.
We're all considered the same. Reese considers us all the same.
Yeah.
He's the guy who gets us to do it.
Yep.
So we're all the same. But it wasn't like there wasn't any one person whose decision this was. The guy said he was going to drop, and he was allowed to drop.
Yeah, and so if you're going to drop and we say okay, and then we walk away, don't come 5 minutes later saying you want to come back when we've already made the adjustments that you dropped.
Right. Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's just how that goes. Other than that, on Friday,
I think that was it.
Yeah, I mean, there was judge calls all weekend with weird things.
What's the most common judge call you had for the weekend?
Had to do with terrain, most of the time.
Mine had to do with Celestine and Gulliman.
See, I didn't get a single Celestine, I didn't get a single Gulliman, but I got all 3 Reaver calls.
I got mostly Gulliman, and they all had to do with the headhunter secondary.
Right.
So just so everyone knows,
I did get a lot of questions about missions. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of how to score missions.
Did you say you got more questions about missions than you did the rulebook?
Yes. Absolutely.
Overall?
Absolutely more questions about the missions than the rulebook, yeah.
So you're saying Reese needs to write better missions?
What did we personally think about the Fire Raptor on stream? Okay, so this is what I have to say. Why does I sympathy? No, I don't have any sympathy towards
that. Would have been me, not John, but I didn't see it.
I'll go ahead and put this out there about what I feel about conversions, period, and everybody knows this. I've said it multiple times, which is I don't think in competitive environment any conversion should be allowed. If there's a model for it, you play it. If there's not a model for it, you don't.
Okay.
Period. It takes all of the ifs, ands, or buts out of it. You play, if you're going to play a model, if you're going to play a Fire Raptor, you need to bring a Fire Raptor. If you're going to play, I don't know, an Eldar giant tank thing, you bring one, you don't convert one yourself.
Right.
That's always been what I thought. Now, I've always been shouted down, and that's fine. I'm in the minority on that opinion.
I don't shout at you.
So when you ask something like that, like what's my personal opinion about the Fire Raptor conversion on the stream, that's my response is I've always thought that those things shouldn't be allowed. Now, it did meet the criteria for the modifications we asked for.
Yes.
It was extended. It had the correct weapons. That's it.
Okay. I didn't see it. I only saw, you said it would look like the one in the, that we used as examples in the video you made, John. So, but it's chaos, so it's fine.
And the guy asked beforehand and sent pictures.
Okay, so it's that same guy.
He did everything the way he was supposed to do it.
Right.
It was painted to 3 colors. The base was finished. Like, all the criteria were checked off on the box. How do I feel about conversions? I don't like them.
Conversions or proxies?
Both. Whatever.
Or heavy, I guess heavy
You
conversions.
play the models. You need to play the models.
Like War Machine?
I don't know what you mean by War Machine.
Like War Machine doesn't allow...
That's not a thing. Why are we talking about
there was a store there. Now, granted, nobody was in the store.
Right, that's not a thing.
But there's a store. It exists.
No,
Just
like
you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
PUBG is filled with cheaters. Yeah, I haven't played yet. But I like... No, like, you can make modifications to the models, fine.
Right.
But you can't... Don't take a model that's one thing and
turn
convert it into something totally different. Like, that's not...
It makes things...
Just play the model.
It makes things easier, that's for sure.
It does.
But that rest of that day was fine, except for the unpainted army and the little hiccups with BCP. The rest of the weekend, the BCP app worked fine. And then we had our meetup.
Yes, the meetup was fun.
We stayed up till 3 in the morning.
Oh man, I can't believe I did that.
That was great.
I can't believe, yeah, that was bad.
I can't say how we ended the night, but unfortunately, I was alone.
I made it back to my room. Danny said I passed out. Then I was just done and I was asleep.
He said you woke up, drank some water, and then went back to sleep for like another 2 hours.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So you missed breakfast with us the next day.
I was never making that breakfast. When it passed the 1 a.m. mark, I wasn't going to breakfast with you guys.
You're not conditioned. I still woke up at my normal start time.
Yeah.
So next day, day 2, did we have anything?
There was just stuff all the time. Like that was the day I got all 3 Reaver questions.
Okay.
And the one day the guy was like, he would not accept the answer. And I understand that Reavers worded terribly. And I was like, okay, I get it. This is something we cleared with Reese and we talked about with him. So he was like, well, I want to talk to Reese. I was like, you want to talk to Reese? And he's like, yeah, I want to talk to Reese. So we took him over to Reese. If you haven't noticed yet, I somehow stole Reese's shirt. So I decided to wear it on the stream before I send it back to him.
Make sure you don't wash it. Just send it back.
No, I'll wash it.
Don't wash it. Just send it back.
I'm only going to wear it for like this, a couple hours. It takes.
Let your cat sleep on it.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I think he's allergic to cats.
I'll throw it in
I'm pretty sure he's allergic.
Throw it in a bag, put it in the mail. It's fine.
Okay.
He'll get it.
No, tell him it's a gift from you.
It's not a gift. It's got his name. I'm sure he had this made. I don't know how it ended up in my backpack.
No, I think somebody made it for him because there was dog tags and a shirt. I saw it was on the table.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. That's weird.
Just send it to him and say it's a gift.
No.
He'll never know. He doesn't listen to us.
Hey, if you're watching this and you're the person who made it for him, tell me because it somehow ended up with me and now I'm wearing it and I'm sending it to him.
I'm telling you, don't wash it.
That's terrible.
That's why I said that.
Sunday was the day with all the crazy nonsense, but if we're going to talk about Sunday, we should at least bring our guest.
Sure.
All right.
I'm sure he's fine
so
just sitting on your couch.
Sitting over there on the couch on the phone. So I'm going to go ahead and change the screen here because we got to move some stuff around. You can continue talking.
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
All right. Talk.
Put it on the screen.
I know. I have another one.
Okay.
So,
Where do you want?
You're right.
so one viewer said, "Don't wash it and make sure you do a workout before you send the shirt back," which I agree with.
I just kind of feel bad that I ended up with this somehow. I don't know how I ended up with it.
Yeah, I like how you were excited to put. Oh, I want to put on my OVO shirt. There's even something on the sleeve. I don't know what that logo is. There's a logo on it.
Yeah.
Totally stole it.
I did not steal it. Not steal things.
So those that are just tuning in or have been watching today, we're lucky to have because where's did you win your game?
What?
Your Blood Bowl game.
Oh, I didn't play today.
You just like the shirt.
I was wearing another shirt and my son spit up all over my shirt. So this was the top shirt.
Always the way that goes.
So those that don't know, we have with us the 8th place finisher for LVO.
Mm-hmm.
And helped the team over the top.
That's right. By
With the
.13.
0.13.
We are the third place team. Hashtag wrecked with .13 points.
Now
Best team on the West Coast.
Now the rest of you guys have to be serious.
Oh,
I kind of want to ask Nikhil and see how salty he is about that.
I don't think he is. Maybe. I don't know. So again, we have with Jeff. For those that don't know, Jeff has been on our show before. He was on the battle report with Reese, where he made Reese salty.
with Yunari.
With Yunari.
It's not hard to do.
And you play Yunari, right?
I was playing Craft World, Pure Craft World Eldar.
Really?
At LVO.
So handicap. So you made it with
I don't know. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. You know the.
So tell us about your day one. We told you about ours.
Well, day one was actually a pretty easy day for me. It was like a softball day. So I played a guy named Julio for my first game.
No disrespect meant.
No, I mean, and he even said it to me at the beginning of the game. He's like, I haven't played more than 2 games of 8th edition.
There was a lot of that.
He's a guy from Torrance, so he's a local guy from LA, and I shot the shit with him for a little while. And the game was not really close. I mean, he had a decent army, but it was a bunch of stuff from like 5th edition and stuff like that. Didn't have like Mortari or anything like that.
There was a lot of that going on at the tournament.
There were a lot of people who were like, "Hey, this is my 4th game," and people were like, "No wonder it's taking you an hour to do your first turn."
It took a long time. We didn't finish the game, but that's okay. I had a good time, and I got like 15 points in a win, so it kind of allowed me to. Pseudo submarine,
a nice little small win.
I really like the new missions because they they give you this kind of point variance that really kind of varies the field of competition.
Yeah.
So if you crush someone and do a 40-point win, 38-point win in round 1,
right,
you're swimming with the big fish. But if you've got a 15 or 20-point win, you're not necessarily swimming with people who crush their opponents.
Right, which is nice.
Yeah, I like that kind of granularity. Second game I played Kenny Boucher, actually, from the Long War.
I thought that was like third round. No, second.
No, it was my second
okay.
game. Yeah, and
he was playing Chaos, right?
He was playing an Alpha Legion cultist list, like with 120 cultists and like 60 Brimstone horrors, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I have hemp Brimstones because I haven't had time to change my list in the last 10 days."
What am I going to do with all these?
Yeah, I know. It's like, okay, well, he's like, they're trash, but here they are in my army. And I'm like, okay, so it was a good game. He had some of those Chaos Dreadnoughts that have the Mortal Wound guns.
Oh, the Butcher. Soul Burner Petard.
Petard, yeah. It sounds
like saying Petard.
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds like something you wear over your loins, But
oh yeah, because we had the rules question about that.
Did you?
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah,
so
I came over to the table.
Was you have 2 of them. Each one says if you roll any ones, you take a mortal wound, but it can't happen more than once in a phase. But since it has both guns have the rule, and the ruling was no.
No, it just says once a phase, so it's once a phase.
And it was no big deal. And the game was.
I'm gonna rule against that because it's Joe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Should have called me over.
I should have. Next time I'll remember that. But,
Every time
that was a good game, and Kenny didn't really have any morale control in his list, so I was able to just chew through his cultist blobs, do 20 or 25 wounds into them, and then they just kind of melted away. And once I killed his dreadnoughts, it was just kind of after that, it was kind of just mopping up. So it was a good game though, and I think he went 5-1 with that list. So it was.
Yeah, he ended up doing well.
He's a good player. Yeah, definitely a good player.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played in my third round. I played a guy who brought a World Eaters list, like pure World Eaters.
Okay.
Had like a Demon Prince, like 3 units of Obliterators, some 2 Helldrakes, and a bunch of Berserkers and Rhinos. Yeah, Helldrakes. I was like, okay. Well, and he's a nice guy from the Bay. His name was AJ, I think. And he, the game was, the problem was he committed all to one flank and was able to like kill my sniper base in the corner of the battlefield, but there was no objectives around that. And then
so it didn't do much.
His Berserkers were kind of just like, he got Warlord from it, but his Berserkers were there because I kind of tempted it with them. Like, look at these guys, here they are, and the Berserkers ate them all up in a round of combat.
Hey, my Warlord's right here. You should come down to kill it.
Yeah, and then he was just kind of walking toward the rest of my guns,
right.
To get to the objectives and just got shot up. So that was my day one was pretty. The games they went really easily in my favor. Not easy. I mean, they weren't. My opponents were very good players, but it was just kind of like my list had a lot of firepower, so it could kind of take on those threats. I played 3 Chaos lists, and then Saturday morning was the second day. Saturday morning.
Yes.
Jesus.
It was a long weekend. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you stay for the awards, or did you drive home?
No, I cut
You
out.
booked
right
it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. My wife was pissed at me because I was supposed to come home on Sunday morning. Because we have 2 kids, but that's neither here nor there. My second day, I played. What's the guy's name? Justin Curtis, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
A guy from. I think
He's from Beast Coast.
He's from Beast Coast.
He's Beast Coast, yeah. Same as like Tony and Aaron Along.
Along, yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, and he had a Magnus and Mortarian list with 2 blow letter bombs and 2 pink horror units, giant pink horror units that he split up. He would split. That game came down to who got first turn, and I got first turn.
Yeah.
I was able to kill Magnus on turn 1 because my list was designed to statistically kill Magnus in 1 turn with the Jinx from 36 inches away with the Warlock.
And did you do it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I did it with 2 of the Crimson Hunter. I got him down to like 4 wounds, and I just shot all of the guns in the second, the last Crimson Hunter into him just to like not fuck around.
Yeah. Well, and this feeds into the conversation we were having. Was it in our team chat? Somewhere we were having this conversation today. I was having this conversation where Chaos didn't do as well as people thought because people were prepared for it.
Yeah.
Like you just said it. Your list was designed to kill Mortarion or Magnus in 1 turn of shooting. And your list is Eldar.
Yeah.
And people plan for Chaos, but didn't necessarily plan for Eldar.
Yeah, the meta...
Which I think is the reason why Eldar was so prominent in the top 8. Not because Eldar's OP. I think people just didn't prepare for it.
I actually think that's very, very accurate because, I mean, like, the lists, Nick Nanavati, Brad Chester, and Tony Grappando all had essentially the same list, and I think Nick and Brad developed it like before together or something like that. And it's this Shining Spear Death Star essentially that just drops down, so it's immune to Alpha Strike, and then which is a counter meta point because it can stay off the board, and so if it goes seconds, it's okay. It has these Wave Serpents that essentially are just there to protect the Dark Reapers from a turn 1 Alpha Strike, and then it's able to deal with hordes really well with all the Tempest launch. It has 4 Tempest launchers in the list, and then which are 2d6 strength 4 -1 damage shots. So they just eat through hordes, cultists and stuff like that.
Right.
It's able to. It has Rangers, so it can push out Alpha Legion, Berserkers, and then once the Shining Spear Death Star comes down, it just eats things up. I mean, it has insane shooting. It can Soul Burst, shoot again, fight again. I mean, its fighting is not as good as its shooting. Its shooting is much better, but it still can fight really good. It's at strike 6, 2 damage attacks on a charge with like 2 attacks each guy, and so it does work for sure. And it's kind of designed to just deal with the melee threats that you see out there because you can jump over screens, you can lock in a screen so you can't get shot at the next turn, and it's very much a list that's super mobile, and it's kind of like counter meta at that point because a lot of people are just preparing for chaos. I mean, I don't know, in our meta, there's a ton of chaos players, so my list was like, I had all this practice zoning out chaos, death, bombs, Bloodletter bomb, cultist bomb, pink horror bomb, whatever it is. It's if something comes out and shoots you to shit, or charges you to death. And so, I mean, I practiced a lot of that, which is actually...
Our meta is weird.
It ended up being my downfall against Nick, was because in my top 8 game, I played Nick, and I got everything went in my favor. I got the stars aligned. I'm like, okay, I got like a 15% chance now. I went first, and I deployed infiltrators first, so he was in a corner, and what I should have done was, instead of castling and zoning my guys, I needed to zone his casters.
Okay.
Because if I could have created like a 36-inch bubble where he couldn't have, and I could have done it with my flyers, where he couldn't drop his Shining Spear blob next to his Psychers to get it buffed up.
Sure.
It would just be kind of like, it might drop on the other side of the board and kill a Wave Serpent maybe.
Right.
But
it wouldn't do mega damage.
It wouldn't be able to move after a Deep Struck with a Quicken spell or Soul Burst spell and then fight twice or shoot twice, and so that it did all that things though, because I didn't do that. So because I was so used to playing Chaos, where it's not let me block you, it's let me block you away from me.
Right.
So that was kind of
a little bit different,
my repetitive kind of training over the last couple months before the event was, get away from me.
Well, yeah, when you play at our store, it's like you're either going to be playing Chaos or Tyranids. Oddly. There's a lot of Tyranids too.
In
Australia,
it would have worked out too.
Yeah.
CanCon had like 120 something players, and number 1 and number 3 were Tyranids. Yeah. With flyers. Oh wow. Yeah, and so I think the Knicks in that list is very counter meta because it's like it doesn't care what you do with your deployment zone. It just wants to drop its Death Star into its deployment zone, then it'll get into your zone even if you have screens. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's because it can move 20-something inches within an advance and still charge and shoot normally.
Yeah, it's gonna get there.
Yeah, so it'll get over your screens and get into what it wants to get into.
Yeah, so. Pretty fast too.
And just a quick correction, Curtis is Team Happy.
Not
you said Happy because you said
Beast. I said Beast Coast.
He was wearing the Happy shirt.
Oh yeah, the yellow and black.
Yeah,
right.
So
I always forget that. I always forget that A-Long and Tony are on Team Happy.
Yeah, makes sense.
That was a really good game though, but it was it was only Primarchs I played all weekend. I played 4 Chaos lists.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and they didn't make it far.
Yeah.
There were.
It's just it's like the thing with the Primarch is it's a lot of points, and they die on the first turn. And if it was, it's not a bad thing that they die on the first turn because they absorb an entire army shooting. So it's not like necessarily a bad thing.
It's just a lot of points to die in the first turn.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree. But
but if you played Chaos, would you run a Primarch?
No, because I don't like to run one thing that's super critical to my list.
Right.
Like I like to have 5 of something instead of 1 of something.
Yeah.
But
you like to build in the redundancy.
Yeah, but if I was gonna build a list with a Primarch, I'd use that Primarch and know that he's not there to do anything.
Right.
If he goes first, I would, a lot of people want to be conservative with magnets, right? But if I got magnets,
Slingshot them out there.
Just get in there and smite something and maybe charge something. Who knows?
Right.
And then they deal with them because that's what he's there for. He's 400 points if my opponent shoots at this on turn 1 or turn 2, or whatever. And so I think that's a purpose well served, And if but they usually die. And people have an attachment to it because it's such a big model.
Yeah, they put a lot of time in it, building it, painting it.
Well, and they're usually beautiful models too.
Yeah, and it's I don't. Powerful thing.
You don't see many you see a bunch of shoddy other models. You don't see a lot of shoddy Primarchs. Like when the people play the Primarchs, generally speaking, they do a good job painting them, or pay somebody to do a good job painting them. Yeah, which is fine with me too.
Yeah, even better.
So next game,
game 5 was against a gentleman named AJ from the Bay Area. AJ was my third game. It was Aaron. I want to say Aaron. I think it was Aaron. He just added me on Facebook today. Aaron.
Hopefully he doesn't hear this.
Walsh or something like that.
Okay.
Really good guy. I think he won. He was up at some Castle Conflagration GT.
Oh, that's that game Castle up north.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mountain View. Where
Castle
they do
Conflagration.
Yes, the Castle Conflagration.
He had a Dark Angel list that was ridiculously good. It was. It was a nutty game, dude. I went first. I flew my plane up to his castle where he had 3 planes, 3 of the Dark Talons, and then 2 Dark Shrouds, and Samiel and a Talon Master and a bunch of Ravenwing bikes. And they had a 30-man blob of conscripts with the guy with the pistols. They came on
Right.
But I fly my plane up to his castle, and I blow up one of his planes, and he rolls a 6 for it to explode. And he had already spent his reroll on rerolling a save on Samiel. So it blows up and just does a fucking ton of mortal wounds to his shit. And everything takes 3 mortal wounds. His Primaris Psyker takes 3 wounds and almost dies or something, And so everything's oh shit. And then the next turn he's shooting at my plane. He kind of advances his whole army up to the middle of the board. And one of my other planes was in the middle of the board and he was kind of surrounding it. And he shot and blew it up, and it blew up in the middle of his army again. And some of my stuff was there too, but it was just so I was and then on the third turn, his plane that was in my deployment zone, I shot it and it blew up and fucked up a bunch of my shit. It was just it was a day of exploding planes. And that was an insanely close game. I think I made a bunch of 6-up saves on Wave Serpents and just pulled it out at the end, just didn't die.
Was that a 1-point game or something?
It was a tie. We tied.
Oh,
that was his draw.
That was my draw.
Yeah, because you made it in the top 8 with the draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised about, but
how many points was it? So it was a high draw.
21.
Yeah, he had a high draw.
It was a good draw, but it was insane. That was such a good game. We were both having a good laugh. Our planes were exploding and shit. And he'd shoot into my Wave Serpent and he's all right, 3 damage. And I think at some point I rolled 3 6s on Feel No Pain for my Wave Serpent. I'm just sorry. That's how it goes. And then the last game I played was against Matt, a guy named Matt he's on the Battle Host.
Oh, yeah.
I can't recall his last name. Nice guy.
Yes, I think you had Eldar, right?
Yeah, he had a list that had a ton of Dark Reapers, 20 Dark Reapers, something like that.
Yeah, I thought that one was going to be tough for you. I rember walking by the table a bunch of times and being I don't know if Jeff's going to get this one out.
He was just murdering my shit. But on the first turn, I had my infiltrating Rangers walk up to his priority objective and just score a point.
He
had it.
Is this the game where he forgot about it and just kept playing your crew points?
Yeah, so I don't know if he forgot about it because he put his Plasma Obliterator on top of it, but instead of putting it in the center of his Plasma Obliterator over it.
Other than you can't do that.
You can't put a
no,
building
over it. It can't be on top of the objective.
No.
Ah. Well,
it could be next to it.
He had it on top of the objective, but it was in the corner. So if I walked up to the corner of the building, I got it. So anyways, I was able to get to it, but I had to be within 2 inches of the building or something like that.
Right.
So I just walked up a unit and I charged his Rangers with my Rangers and got the point. And then on turn 2, I deep struck a unit of Storm Guardians onto it, and then quickened them onto it, and just scored another point. And then his third turn, second turn. So he went second. His second turn, he tried to shoot my Storm Guardians off. He dropped a couple of things down to kill them, but I paid the 4-up invulnerable save stratagem for Guardians, and one dude survived, and I auto pass him around. I was like, here's 2 CP. Because it was like, I was getting bonus points every turn for it, and it ended up being a
That was the game for you,
swing.
right?
Yeah. It was a 1-point game. It was, I don't remember what the score was, but it was like, 17 to 16 or something like that. And he was just creaming the shit. I mean, his Dark Reapers were just blowing up my planes and my Wave Serpents. And I was just like, everything's dying. What's happening? And then, I made a big mistake at the end. I forgot to, fall back my Wave Serpent to get Line Breaker. Instead, I was like, I'm going to just stay in combat. And, I'll Serpent Shield this guy off. And, of course, I don't.
You whiff, yeah, of course.
So that was a stupid mistake. But, it ended up
still
working
won,
out.
so.
But it was a close game. Very close game. So
yeah, there were a lot of people with high draws that were in the race to get into the top 8.
Yeah.
Because like A-Long tied in his first game with Jeff. They went all the way to time and then tied 27-27.
Yeah, but then Jeff A-Long lost in the round 6.
Yeah, he lost round 6 to Sean.
Yeah.
Naden, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and then I think Jeff lost round 5, if I remember right.
I
To
think
somebody.
2 losses.
Did he end up with 2 losses? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. People are asking how the terrain was.
The terrain was nice.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I mean, there's so much. LVO is such a different. Our local shop has no terrain. I mean, it has terrain, but
It's old.
It's old terrain, and there's
It's
not
old. The owner won't
building
invest,
terrain.
so
the
it's old.
building terrain doesn't exist, so it's a lot of open topped ruins essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see into it, but the LVO has a lot of closed top ruins, so buildings with roofs on them, so you can't see into the top.
Right.
Which is a big deal. In the LVO, there's a lot of buildings that you can just walk into, and if you don't have indirect fire, it's a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Because there's 4 scouts sitting on, in a building that's an inch away from an objective, and they're capping points on it every turn.
And you can't
do
shoot them
anything
without line of
unless you-
sight, yeah.
Yeah, unless you can walk up and charge them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was a player that expressed concern about the terrain only because he was like, so if I put a unit inside the ruins or inside a building, only infantry can get them out. I'm like, yeah, only infantry can go in. He's like, but I don't have any infantry in my army. Like,
Sorry, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's a reason why you didn't see any. I don't know. I actually don't know if there are any Fire Raptor lists in the contention, but
No.
that kind of list is not going to do well.
I don't
because
think so. There was a 5 Fire Raptor army.
Yes. The Death Guard one with all 5 Fire Raptors,
I
yeah.
think one of our guys played against it.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any. Yeah, I don't think anything with a Fire Raptor was even.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that's a list.
Round 5 was when the last Fire Raptor heavy list got dropped. And it was 1 Fire Raptor,
Okay.
if I remember right.
Yeah, so the terrain at the event was such that you could just hide a lot of your shit. Even big
Which I think is
vehicles.
key to making 8th edition,
Playable.
Well, I mean, it
The
depends on
terrain's
what
a
you
big
want to
deal.
play.
I
That's
mean,
a
if you want to play
subjective
games
opinion,
where the
but-
first turn determines everything, you just get blown off the board, then...
Well, I would say that the first turn still determines most things. even
That's
if
true.
those-
I agree with you on that.
the-
We've
the-
had this discussion a lot.
Yeah, the terrain at LVO is such that you can just have a unit sitting in a building by itself, and if it's near an objective, that's great. If it's not near an objective, what's the fucking point? Who cares? But it's just kind of the terrain is great. I mean, beautiful terrain, good line of sight blocking terrain. But if you don't, it's one of those places that you need to know what you're going into when you go there, and you need to have indirect fire. I mean, I took 3 Tempest launchers in my list because I needed to be able to shoot things that were hiding behind walls.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if you can't do that, it's going to be a problem.
So I have 2 questions for you about your list.
Okay.
So first one is...
Yes, it was illegal. No, I'm just kidding.
We almost had that, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there was
did.
a point in time, one of the rounds, and it was a stream game. We're like, oh man, this list is illegal.
Oh, shit.
And we're like, okay, so
We thought it was.
Yeah, we thought it was. Well, and the way it was written, it was.
Yes.
Because
formatting
he
is the
hadn't
thing.
formatted it properly. And so the way he had it formatted is not legal. Right? And then when we delved into it, we're like, okay, wait a minute, this is legal. He just needed to put this header here on this unit, right? So we all got together and we're like, okay, what do we do? And this is actually an illegal list because this is a stream game. Like, what do we do? So we actually had a moment of just clenching and being like, okay,
and push them out
yeah.
the door.
Do we just throw them out live on stream, or what do we do?
I would say yes. It'd be like swatting online.
Yeah.
Gotta get some big security.
But no, so it's not. It was your list illegal. One is you don't take as many Death Reapers as a lot of players did.
You mean Dark Reapers?
Dark Reapers, as a lot of players did. You played a guy who had 25.
No,
20?
he had a big unit of 10 or 9, and then want to say 4 units of 3. So
Still a lot.
So 20 something.
Yeah, 20 something.
Okay.
Yeah, 20 something.
And then you take Storm Guardians, which I didn't see a lot of either.
So
So,
I take Storm Guardians because I don't have any Guardian models. I mean, that's like, I don't.
but they also move differently, they act differently, they work differently.
They
So
don't move differently. The only thing they can do is they can take 2 special weapons. So like 2 flamers. I have 2 of them with 2 flamers and 1 of them with 2 melta guns. And I actually like that.
Right.
Because they're in Wave Serpent, so I can, because of the way my army works, it's not a psychic heavy army. I have a Farseer and a Council. And that's it. But I can get a Guardian squad out 3 inches from a Wave Serpent, move them 7 inches, and advance D6 inches with battle focus.
Right.
Because I'm not Yunari. So I can go, that's, 16 inches, no, probably 13 or 14 inches right there. And then I can cast Quicken on that unit and go another 7 plus D6. So that's, 20, 22, 23 inches I can come out. And that's a huge threat range. I mean, it's not that they're going to do much when they get there. But those guys can jump out, move 20 or so inches onto an objective, cap that objective, maybe pop a vehicle with a meltagun or snipe a character out with a meltagun or put some flamers when I need to or something like that. They can't charge.
No.
I can maybe go 16 inches if I didn't charge, if I needed to charge, which is still a considerable distance. So, they're nice, but the real reason
would you rather have had them than Guardians if you had the Guardian models?
No, I wouldn't take Guardians because the reason being is because I want to fit 3 Dark Reapers in each of my 3 Wave Serpents.
Okay.
And to do they only kept transport 12 guys, so that's down to 9. If I was going to change it in the future, my only thoughts with the list is I would drop the Storm Guardians and replace them with Dire Avengers because they're 5 minis, they're cheaper by 10 or so points, 15 points like that because of the special weapons. Then I could take a unit of Howling Banshees and deep strike those because I like the idea of I started deep striking a unit of Storm Guardians instead of starting all 3 into vehicles.
Right.
Because it's just good to have something that deep strikes.
Right.
Even if it's not an effective unit, it's just something that makes your opponent think about it.
Yeah.
They can pop on. If your opponent makes an error, you can exploit that error. You can, if they get off an objective, you can drop down on an objective and score the more points than your opponent. End of round thing. And so I think the Storm Guardians are nice as the special weapons, but they're not the end all be all. If I had Dire Avenger models, I might put those in there.
Okay.
And then do a Howling Banshees because those can deep strike and then only make a 6-inch charge and there's no Overwatch. So they can really tie up something like Dark Reapers.
Right.
Which is a big thing in the meta.
Yes.
I would have loved to have had a unit of Howling Banshees to tie up a unit of Dark Reapers and lock them in combat. It would be
Reese and Sean and Aiden were discussing Howling Banshees at one point when I was having a discussion with them. Reese was like, Howling Banshees. Because I guess Sean's all about the, what is it, the Autarchs with the masks? You can get the Banshee masks?
Yeah. My Autarch had a Banshee mask too.
Okay, cool.
You can have it with the index option. So.
Right.
He actually charged, when I was playing Nick Natamati at the end, he was kicking my ass, it wasn't even close, but I was like, alright, I'm going to charge my Autarch into the brain. And I charged her right and killed her with the. She doesn't have guns, so the Banshee didn't actually make a difference. But I had the Starblade and was like,
nice.
So I was like, okay, I got myself a point,
Good. Okay.
So you make it in the top 8.
Well, yeah, it was.
You're ahead by a few points from the number 9 spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
5 or 6 points.
Yeah, it was a decent spread.
Good. Yeah, the game against Nick was. Nick is a better player than me. I've been to. One LVO.
You haven't been playing very long.
No, I went
compared to Nick.
I started playing in January of 2016. So about.
He hasn't even been playing that long compared to you and I.
Yeah. Well, I played second edition. But that was in my living room with my buddies.
Right.
15 or some shit.
Derping around.
Yeah, I don't think we using shoe boxes for chimeras and stuff like that. I don't even know. But I went to LVO last year in 2017 and then BAO in 2016. So my large event experience isn't too good, and I was just fucking elated to be in the top 8. I was like, "Oh, this is great!"
You were very happy.
I was super, and I'm playing, Nick Nanavati, who is a seasoned winner of large tournaments, and
Yes.
his list is much better than mine. I mean, like his list is designed to just wreck FaZe. And
Yeah.
his
list is in the pictures as they scroll through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, he posted it as the LVO winning list
Yeah.
before he played.
Oh yeah.
So I made sure I saved it because I was going to put it on the stream whether he won or not.
Yeah, I mean, he deserved that win. I mean, like, he kicked my ass for sure.
Yeah, he did. He did well.
And, then he had to play. I don't know who he played next. I had to leave. But I think he may have played Brad Chester.
Well, let's go into that.
Sure. Okay. So, people are asking about the top 8.
So Saturday, we had our top 8.
Mm-hmm.
They included.
It's supposed to be Josh Death, right?
Yes.
We're going to discuss that. Thank you for jumping the gun, Jeff. Please drink more. They included 4 Eldar players, 1 Chaos, 1. It was listed as Space Wolves, was actually Imperium.
Yes.
And then 1 Blood Angel player.
Uh huh.
And
Was
is that all
2
7?
Blood Angel players?
No, it was 1.
Well, no, because wasn't Mike Brandt also playing?
Was his majority Blood Angel? I thought it was majority Imperium.
I don't know.
He had Blood
there
Angels,
was
yes.
two-
Okay. So we're live now again.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
The cameras aren't on you guys yet, but they can hear us.
Oh, they can hear us? Okay, sorry guys, we had a bit of a technical issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Peter had too many beers.
Yes, the computer probably had too many beers.
John.
We can go with that. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable
We only deal with facts.
fake news.
So,
I made the joke already once. All
yeah,
right.
we use it as much as possible. So you didn't watch the inaugural, or not the inaugural, the State of the Union?
I was driving over here, and there was 58 text messages on my a group of text that I'm on that has a bunch of lawyers in it.
Nice. Nice.
So I saw the.
I'm
clip
sure
notes.
that's fine.
I saw the clip numbers. There's a lot of emojis.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Various and gifs. And
So,
When we left, we were talking about Mike Brandt. Okay, cool. So what I was saying was there was a problem with the way BCP had cut his list off, and I had to check it, but it was fine. It's just that the
'cause
BCP app cut it.
BCP app, when you take a photo of a list for some reason, and maybe because you turn your phone sideways or something, I don't know, but it'll cut the photo off. So I've started just emailing myself the list.
Yeah.
One page. By the way, anyone who uploads a fucking Battlescribe list is the devil. I hate you. It's not easy to read. It puts it in some wacky order. It's like first thing, no Force Org slot, and then it's like, what the fuck is? You didn't pay points for a no Force Org slot, and then it's like it has like Warp Talons, and then it's like Typhus, and then it's like what's going on here? It's like in all kinds of crazy order. So please, if you want to have an easy to read list, just put it into a WordPad document and
if you want to get
throw it up
hassled,
on there.
if you want to get hassled by the TO,
and then just upload that Word. You can have the file on your iPhone or your Android. Just have a notepad open and just copy it from an email into that, and then upload it in a text version.
I just use a spreadsheet.
Yeah, that works.
Because you can save it. Well, if you have Adobe, you can save it as a PDF and then just upload the file.
That's one way to do it.
Thank you, John,
For what?
for making that noise.
You're welcome. I'm trying to figure out why your screen doesn't have any image.
They can hear us.
You can see the chat though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all you need.
Yeah. So, anyways, Battlescribe lists are the worst, but Mike Brandt's list, I guess, was all
Cut
good.
off.
Yeah, it was totally fine. There was a bunch of them like that. It's fine.
Yeah, that's why I never use the app.
But so the round 8, the top
round
8 Josh Death thing.
We had Josh Death. So what apparently happened was first of all, Josh Death was not DQ'd. Just so everybody knows, he was not DQ'd by us.
And just like the guy who didn't have the paint wasn't
DQ'd either.
We didn't DQ anybody.
No, not for the weekend. We did
No, not all weekend. Not at the championships. I don't know about the other events.
Nope. We let life take care of that part.
Yes, we did. It took its course. Life finds a way.
Yes, it does.
You set me up. I had to swing.
I know.
It's a soft pitch.
You know, it was a softball. Much like Jeff's first day, apparently, it was a softball.
Yeah.
I mean,
No offense
I'll
to
take
anybody
it.
who played first day.
Yeah, no, I mean, I played a bunch of great people. Like, they're all really nice, and they weren't easy games, but they were just like.
But to be honest,
my list was
there
ready for those
were people
kind of
there that weren't, they were there just to
Yes.
play.
Well, I mean, no, but hold on.
Yeah.
Kenny Boucher's list was freaking amazing, but like my list is designed. I designed a list to do two things: kill Magnus in turn 1 and kill 120 conscripts. And that's what I did on day 1. You know, and day 2 it was a much different story.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was we got a message, or at least I got a message, that apparently they redid one player redid the score, and they should have gotten bonus points for Reaper.
Yes.
Which they didn't, and so the scores should have been. He should have 2 more points, and that would have put him 1 point ahead of Josh.
And then on the judges' chat, you and I wrote the same mind, which was learn to count. Sorry, guy.
In our mind, or in my mind, as a judge, anyway, if the scores are already put in, because in most cases you have to
put in your
both
password,
put in the score, you put in the password,
or if you're going to go to the judges
both
table,
counted it out.
both players should be there.
Yes.
To turn the scores, or just check your phone once the scores are put in. You could always look on your phone and see what the scores are.
Right.
So.
Well, especially at that game in round 6. I mean,
yes,
you should know if you're.
So we basically responded that basically the time has passed and you couldn't redo the scores.
Right. Yeah, like Aaron's saying, round is done. You both agreed to it. No take backs.
Next day, they're still pressing the issue, or one player still pressing the issue. I think Danny just told him, "Look, on our end, it's done. What you guys decide
is up to you.
Right. So
and honestly, if 2 players come to you and say they want to change the score, then fine.
And that has happened over the weekend.
And as long as it's 1 player doing it, the answer is no.
Right.
Right.
But when it's happened multiple times over the weekend, and it was both players coming up.
Yeah.
You know. So if 2 players come to an agreement before the next round starts.
Yes.
And they're both willing to change the scores. In this case, Josh was willing. You know what? Then this is what he said. You know what? I'm not 100% on my end. He seems to be 100% on his end. I'm okay with just flipping the score, changing the score, and basically switching places.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, we have to. They both come to an accord.
Yeah.
So we have to honor their agreement, their gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
And so scores were switched. You know, if both players agree, we're not going to say no. It's up to them. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. We're not going to say.
Yeah, I mean, and that's I think there's a lot of gentlemanly conduct on Sunday, and a lot of ungentlemanly conduct.
Well,
yeah, that's true.
But if Josh when he did that, I was standing like 5 feet away and I was listening in and I was like, oh, okay, well that's good.
Plague has asked, but was John's opponent the correct placing after the switch? The difference was only 1 point. So I don't know how many points or whatever.
I think they switched some of the pairings.
No, he was in the exact same spot Josh was at.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I thought some of the pairings did change.
All I know is I didn't get my pairing changed. Unfortunately.
No,
I was like, come on.
Number 8 played number 1. That was that. There's nothing you can do about it.
In between, because I believe Josh was somewhere in the middle, but
because I think I read on Pablo's live blog on Frontline Gaming.
Yeah, he mentioned stuff got switched on there. Pablo did.
Well, their placing got switched.
Yeah, so I think like Josh was supposed to play one of the other guys, but I think ended up Brad Chesser came in.
What we did was we put it in the app and it got changed for the round thing. So
we put it in the app. The extra 2 points for the other player. Them and Josh basically got switched to the new. And so whatever the new placing was, that's where the other player ended up.
Do you mean the math on his game?
Yeah, they wanted to. What Plague Husk is asking is whether someone confirmed that Josh's points were correct.
That should have been the other player. That's not. To be honest, that's not our.
No, that's not our responsibility. The players came to us, wanting to make the change.
Yeah, it's up to them to do the math.
Yeah,
making the claim that their math was incorrect in their game, and that the results should have been this. And
just like we take them at their word for the first time they entered it into the app.
Right.
We take them for their word that they did the math correctly this time when they want to change it.
If you're worried about people cheating to put someone else in the top 8, I mean, people can cheat.
Oh, he's asking if the change was correct. Plague Husk, in terms of look at Aaron's answer in terms of bells, chimes, light flash, machine spits out a new answer.
Thanks, BCB.
That's more or less what it is. We switch the numbers, and then the best coast pairings recalculates.
Yeah.
Makes the change itself.
There's no hand calculation going on. If there was, I'd have no job as a head judge.
True. If there was, if they didn't fix round 2, then we would have made.
Yeah, we would have been sitting there with Excel spreadsheets open, figuring it out.
I'd be over having lunch or something.
Yeah,
I'd go with the Forge Room booth.
Of course, right.
So that was, but more importantly, he was not disqualified. It was a
no.
He wanted to make the switch. He wanted to in his mind correct the.
Yeah, I mean, in his mind, I don't know what's going through his mind, but I can only imagine that in his mind he thought, oh, I didn't win that game, and I want to do the honorable thing, and let the guy who did win that game get the win for it. And that's awesome. That's a sportsmanly. That is a very sportsmanly like conduct.
That is
on a day when that was rare.
We'll get to that. You guys need to calm. You guys need to slowly roll.
Hey, I played my game out to the end.
You did.
Turn 6.
I watched it on the Twitch stream because I wasn't there, and the chat was like just going crazy about how much of a good sport both of you guys were, and like, look, this game is so great to watch. Why can't every game be this way?
I guess it's right. Hey, look at Just Miles getting picked up.
Yeah, look at how nice he is getting rolled. Nick Donavati is just rolling this kid, and he's totally happy.
Rolled at any game, it'll be. I'm glad it was the top 8 game, not like day 1.
I've seen you be pretty serious playing Blood Bowl games.
Yeah,
I've seen you get serious.
Yeah. I don't know. In Blood Bowl, it's the luck that you get mad at when you're like, oh, that got this, and then you roll double ones, and then you re-roll and you roll double ones again. You're like,
yep,
that chance is like 1 in 256 or some shit.
Right.
And it happens twice, 2 turns in a row.
Yeah, and then you're like, but in like Nick, my game against Nick, there was no luck involved. No. I got lucky and still lost. I went first, and I got the Plum Infiltrators first, and then I was like, okay, this is maybe a.
You had all the stuff in your favor you could get in your favor.
Yeah, and then it was just like, when he took his first shot, I'm like, this is over.
Yes. That's what it looked like on the stream.
I was very aware. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just again to clarify, Josh was not disqualified. Some people are saying he was.
There was nobody DQ'd
saying, and that's what I thought at first too, because someone had told me that. Because I didn't witness it. That was Danny mainly.
Yes.
That it was due to him using the stratagem on the building exploding.
I wasn't even aware of that situation.
Yeah, I heard that. That's what I heard. I heard that he had used the stratagem to explode the building. But the thing is, the building explodes regardless of once it goes to 0, you don't roll; it auto explodes.
Okay.
Because he had that vortex
missile launcher thing.
Bunker.
The keyless strong point vortex missile launcher.
Yeah. So and one of the rules is that it because all those missiles in there, it auto explodes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But it wasn't for that.
We and then I also we had to make that ruling about the poxwalkers inside it, and people thought maybe that had something to do with it. It did not.
No, I think some people were just salty about it.
Yes, I made the ruling. I was a little salty about it.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't make the ruling alone. There was a committee of us that made that ruling.
So you lost to Nick. Nick played. I think Nick played Brad Chester, who was the one that switched with Josh. I can't recall.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's the other game. Was Alex Fennell
and Tony
Montano. So
we're the co-creator of League of Legends afterwards offered.
Why are you jumping ahead?
Because I don't want you to get to say it. Because I don't. No, he doesn't get any moments. Okay.
You guys.
Oh man.
I was yelling at my brother all weekend.
Respect my elders. You were yelling at your brother all weekend.
I was.
And your brother's just a nice guy who sits there and
he
does whatever we ask him. And like, hey, can you go give me a drink because I'm busy? Yeah, sure.
He was fucking doing it on purpose.
Doing what on
purpose?
purpose?
And getting me mad.
Well, yeah, he's your brother.
So I get my brother mad all the time.
If I had brothers, I would. I get my sisters mad all the time on purpose. Sure. You should have seen the text message I was sending Carol during the State of the Union. I wasn't even watching it.
You just kept on saying that. That's good. That's a good point.
Is Shane 22 your brother?
No.
No, that's Tom.
That's Tom. He has that same tag in PUBG. I yell at Tom too all the time.
You do yell at Tom a lot, yes.
Sometimes you deserve what you get.
It's because Tom's old enough to, or young enough to have been one of your, like, players on your soccer team, so you yell at that age level.
Also, Tom.
Wow.
It's just an observation.
Also, Tom has that Catholic guilt.
Yeah, he does.
So it's easy. It's easier to get him.
Yeah.
To get him going.
All right, so
okay,
round
so what happened was, and this is more for basically from our perspective and what we ultimately did or didn't do. So what ended up happening was they had an agreement to play by intent. For those that don't know, what that means is, if I'm playing Jeff, I tell him, okay, we're gonna play we're not gonna play like strictly basically raw.
Mm-hmm.
If I put something here, maybe it's a placeholder, or I put it here because I don't want the model to fall down.
Yeah,
but we're
it's a lot of people.
We'll declare our intent, and that's what that is.
But the important part is that you declare your intent. So like,
yes, you have to do that.
You can say, I'm going to 3-base your model so he can't run away.
Yeah, so you may not
whether he's actually doing that doesn't matter.
You may not be exact, and what it allows you to be, maybe kind of a little sloppy, but it makes you like kind of fast play.
It makes the game faster, and I think it's more enjoyable.
Which was a problem in the first game where there was a clock used.
That we did not find out till later.
Right.
So they agreed to play by intent, which is basically basically a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
To play a certain way.
That if I say that I'm going to do this thing,
right,
or I do this thing with the intention of doing this thing, then.
And this is all on Twitch. You can find, trust me, you can find the clips.
Mm-hmm.
So
those clips
Alex
are all
basically puts a model on the table, get it for D strike.
Yep.
Tony actually helps him measure the distances for the deep strike. And then when Alex just so he knows where to put it, so he can block off his movement.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows where to move, so he can still have his deep strike models where they are. When he goes to basically start his movement phase, Tony basically does a gotcha and says, "Well, your deep strikers are on the table.
Your movement phase is over."
I did talk to someone about it, and they had a question as to whether that technically ends your movement phase. We'll discuss it off air because it's a lengthy discussion we should have. And I'll tell you who I talked to about it. You probably already know.
I do.
Because I talked to them this morning.
Yeah.
But, so, and at the time, and Alex, okay, and this is where we as judges had the dilemma. Unlike the UK and ETC, we don't have a system to govern intent.
Right.
Or gentleman's agreement or sportsmanship.
Right.
So at the time we discussed it, and it was a lengthy discussion, is whether that was correct. We ruled that it was correct by Raw, rules as written, that was correct in what Tony was asserting. Was it legal? Yes. Was it
cool?
Was it sport? No. Was it sportsmanly? No.
Yeah,
gentlemanly? No.
No. So and unfortunately, as judges, we couldn't punish. We couldn't.
But you have to. That's how you have to go as a judge, right? You have to go. You have to just go. Look, we're just here to arbitrate the rules.
Right.
If one person is an asshole, you can give them a thumbs down, but that's about it.
Right. Yeah. See, Angerworm. That's not. See, we can't do that.
We can ask because this happens, and it happened in the team tournament too, where they had an agreement apparently, and then I wasn't there when they made the agreement. None of the judges were there when they made the agreement. It's on the Twitch stream, but they were already an hour and a half, almost 2 hours in. By the time they went back to look quote unquote look at the tape, their time would have been up.
Right.
Yeah, you can't go and this isn't.
It's not.
There's no instant replay.
We don't have,
we can't instant replay these streams.
The question would have been: did Alex Fennell say, "My intent is to do this at the end of my movement phase. I'm going to put them here now as a placeholder." If he had verbalized that might have been a different story.
Yes, that would be a different story.
But if he didn't, it's a shitty thing to do to someone. Right. But that's what you do.
It's hard, Angerworm, because we don't. Unlike Europe, like Adam was saying, we don't have anything in our bylaws or our player packets or anything that says a judge's place is to arbitrate the intent of a game.
Yeah, and that's a real muddy situation to get into, because then you can go, well, then Tony has a good leg example. So, well, our intent was to play by intent, but not to change the rules of the game.
Right.
You know, like whenever, you know, other formats that have some sort of rules on judging intent, that's a real squishy, you know, hard to judge. At least I think, you know, from being someone who deals with the rules all day, you know, just like saying to someone that, oh no, our intent was to do this, to play like this, gentleman like this, but not like this. And then you come in as a third party just going like, well, what did you two really mean? Right. And of course, when the situations come to a head,
yes,
you're going to get differing opinions. If you didn't clear those kind of things at the beginning of the game, when a judge wasn't present, how's a judge knowing what you're going to do?
McSardo was saying that Alex wasn't super explicit. So I mean, how explicit do you have to be?
I don't know.
Well, if it was me and you want to be super specific, you would say, I'm putting these here so that now, or I did that in one of my games. My sixth game, actually, my opponent I think he places Swooping Hawks before he finished his movement phase. He said to me, can I put these here now? And I'm like, of course. Like, what's the big deal? Like, as long as you don't move them after you put them down.
Right.
It's a big deal, Jeff, apparently. It's a really big deal.
He cheated. No, I mean, it's stupid. I mean, that, like, as long as you clear with your opponent, but that's the kind of thing that you need to be verbalizing with your opponent. Like, at the end of every battle round in the ITC missions, you need to get with your opponent and say, like, I have this many points for you on my sheet.
Yes.
How many points do you have for me? And you agree on that because, you know, at the end on turn 6 or 5 when you're scoring up your scores, and he goes, no, I got you know, a recon on turn 4. And you're like, well, I don't have you at recon. I only have 3 points for you. And he goes, I have 4. You know, and you're like, well, how do you resolve that situation? You know?
That's another issue that came up on day 1.
Yes.
With Along and Jeff.
Yeah.
But in this case, so we couldn't enforce it. I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree, McSardo. I think it was not a cool thing to do. But
we're not disputing that part.
Technically, it's correct.
Technically, it's
and somebody said up above that they think the ruling should have been that you should have walked up and been like, well, no, you can't place those deep strikers because your movement phase isn't over. So take them off and now finish your movement phase.
Yeah, but I think
that's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't.
That's like, okay, so I play an archaic card game called Vampire: The Eternal Struggle.
Sure.
And it was a game from like the 90s. It's a fucking great game. But there's this bullshit ruling that has come down from like the people who make the tournament rules in this thing, where if you forget your upkeep phase, you can go back and like you can't forget it. You have to be given the chance to do the things during your upkeep phase that you can do.
Is it like the upkeep phase in Magic?
No, because in Magic you forget it, you're fucked. Like if
right, but what I'm saying is before they made that ruling, was it similar to like the upkeep phase would totally screw you over if you forgot it?
Yeah, oh yeah, it is. It still is like that. So I mean, like, you know, but it's bullshit, and I disagree with that ruling because I'm like, look, if you forget something, you shouldn't get a benefit.
Right.
You shouldn't be able to go, oops, I forgot something, go back. I mean, like the rule should be if you forget your psychic phase, you don't get to cast spells. Like, sorry, like, you know, in an RTT before LVO, my first turn in the third game, I forgot to get my Dark Reapers out of my transports, and I forgot my psychic phase.
Right.
I was just like, I'm gonna start shooting things.
Right.
And I was like, I rolled some dice, and I literally, as soon as I rolled dice, I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And I said to my opponent, well, I forgot to get my guys out and do my psychic phase. So, all right, well, carrying on. Yeah. I didn't let myself go.
If you've ever played me, you know I'm notorious for forgetting phases. I'm also refused to go back and do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
Even if it's a friendly game, I mean, there's battle reports that I've done where I've full-on forgotten something, and in the battle report I talk about how I forgot it, and my opponent said I could do it, but I'm not going to. Because I believe I'll never learn from my mistake if I'm allowed to just take it back all the time. But also, that's part of the game. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
You messed up, you messed up.
And like,
hey, Access Adventure Bee, how's it going?
My 6th round opponent, Matt from the Battle Host, in my first turn, I forgot to move my Rangers, and he let me go back and move them. And I was like, all right. And I usually don't, but it was like a very cool move. And our game was, you know, back and forth. We were doing that kind of thing. Like, don't worry about it. Like, it's no big deal.
But that's just, that's different. Now, in a game like that, where you're going back and forth, and then it gets to the end, and somebody's like, oh, no, we can't take that back. At that point, I'm like, you've been doing all the game. That kind of sucks for you to do that. But I would still stick to, fine. You told me I can't, so I can't.
Yeah, just so you know, that there's kind of a sportsmanship requirement because someone asked if there is one. Yeah. But right now, it's basically, if he wasn't a dick to you, you can't really. You just give him you auto give them a thumbs up. If they have been, you give them a thumbs down, and we take that into account for future events, things like that. But nothing hard and fast.
Ironically, that came up. Remember, a guy came
my
over and wanted to
God.
give a thumbs down. He walks up to the judge
I
table and was
remember
like,
that.
I'm going to give my opponent a thumbs down. And we were like, okay, well, can you
Wait,
explain what's going on here? Like, we need a little... And it was like, what, 5 minutes into the round?
Yeah, the round was only
geez.
like...
Yeah, maybe 10 minutes in. At the most, 10 minutes in.
Oh, thank you for subscribing, Rot by Vulcan.
All right, man. Thanks, bro. That's pretty awesome. Too bad we don't have the animation thing. Nobody's been subscribing, so we don't have an animation. We forgot to put the animation.
I did one, but...
Here's one.
We do have an animation like made up for the thing, but nobody subscribes, so we're like, yeah, whatever. So the guy comes up like maybe 10 minutes into the round. He's like, I'm gonna give my opponent a thumbs down. And we're like, okay, can you like explain this? So he explains a little bit, and Chris Morgan and I are like, I think we're gonna go over to your table with you and figure this out. Right. So I walked over. He starts to explain. I got called off to do something else. I walked away, and then I go back to the judge's table, and Chris isn't there. I'm like, what's taking so long? I look over, and they're arguing, and I'm like, what the heck? So I walk back over, and I walk back over for Chris to be like, basically, yeah, no, I'm not going to allow you to give your opponent a thumbs down for that. In fact, he should kind of be giving you a thumbs down for this. And I don't remember the crux of it all, but basically it was the guy chose to go second, and his opponent wasn't letting him take it back.
Yeah, because he didn't realize how bad it was.
He didn't realize how bad.
Like after he started shooting and blowing his stuff up?
No,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
kind of.
Hey!
That's what
You're shooting me to death.
So we were just like, oh, well, I mean, and I think Chris made the right decision at that point. We're just like, no, like I'm not letting you give this opponent a thumbs down because he literally didn't do anything. He didn't break a rule. He's not cursing at you.
Yeah.
He's not being a jerk.
He just
chose let you choose to go second, basically. Yeah. So,
yeah, that's an interesting situation.
Yeah, Aaron, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that it says it comes in at the end of your movement phase.
Yeah.
So,
but it doesn't say it ends the movement phase.
Yeah,
right.
But okay, but if that's the case, then
it's kind of like the
why would it say the end if it wasn't to end after you did it?
It's kind of like the remember the Space Marine power where it's like you can cast powers after all these powers are cast. It's that kind of like that
conclave thing.
Yeah,
yeah, it was one of the conclave things. Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
It's just bad wording. It's bad wording. Is something that, you know.
They just need to make a separate phase.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you know, like deep strike phase.
Yes, Angry Worm. Nothing comes after. Nothing.
No, game's over. Game over, man.
I'm in life, but okay.
Oh right, okay. Got it. And then after that was
there was a kerfuffle.
Is a kerfuffle? Yes,
that was the kerfuffle. The two things happened.
I missed it.
Yeah, we missed it.
Yes, you missed it.
It's like me with YOLO. I never get it right.
You know, he jokes about that, but that's actually...
I do it on purpose.
Now you do, but in the beginning you didn't.
No, I did it on purpose in the beginning too.
you keep telling
you people don't understand my comedic genius, okay? It's like Pearl's the swine over here. High five.
Who reads the paper?
Who reads the paper, indeed? It's a dead medium.
That's true.
We're on a Twitch stream.
Well, I can't see us, so that's okay.
All right.
Yeah, you can't see us.
Oh, but people can see us. I've been picking my nose for no reason.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody's been seeing that.
That's fine. Keep it clean.
Yes, the Twitch stream, the FLG Twitch stream is really well produced. They do a good job with that.
Yeah, it was really, I mean, like, Mariana and Reese, they do a great job over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone else is asking about
their team's
Fire
really
Raptor
good.
again. Axis Adventure, we already talked about that, but John was more than happy to talk about
his
stance on proxies.
My stance on proxies, personally, is not the stance that is adopted by the tournament. Okay, so, I mean, if you think that we go into these things without having had, like, hundreds of conversations about this stuff, we have a lot of conversations about this stuff all the time. And I've always been ardently against allowing anything but the actual model.
As an orc player, I say fuck all that shit because
I think orcs.
I think that's the reason why I never win is because for orcs it's like
do that.
Yeah, my shit is like, is that like Mr. Potato Head with machine gun arms?
Oh my god, I've actually seen that.
No,
Yeah. So I want to be like, okay, for anything but orcs, it has to be the actual model if it exists, and if it doesn't exist, don't use it. I just want for the competitive. I just want for the champs.
Yeah, but
Like I think narrative, gladiator, friendly, bring all the whatever you want. But if you're playing competitively for the tournament, it needs to be the actual thing so that it's as fair as possible.
But it doesn't make it any less fair to have a conversion.
It does if the conversion's bad.
Even if it's bad in like in the terms
But
of
if it's
like,
not the right size,
shit,
but it wasn't not the right size.
for sure, that's a different story.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So then it's not
that's
an
modeling.
accurate-
That's modeling for
Yeah,
advantage.
as long as there's an accurately sized conversion, whether it looks like shit or not is up to you. That's subjective.
We're not judging. Yeah, we're not judging the artistic value of their shitty conversion.
I guess.
So that was more or less. And so what ended up happening in the end was so finals was Tony and Nick Navati. Eldar and Eldar action,
Yeah,
which I'm sure you can find on certain DeviantArt websites.
Jesus Christ. Cat lady. It's on his list.
I have no part of this conversation. For the record, this is not.
What?
I'm not
DeviantArt
involved.
is a
I-
website for art.
I understand.
Deviant sword.
Different types of. You can find nice pictures.
For the purposes of the fact that some of my students have found this, I have no part of this.
That's fine.
A bigger problem than his students find this.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, that's probably true.
So what ended up happening in the end was people were upset, rightly so.
Yeah.
To be honest, it put us in an awkward position because we don't have anything in place for this. But
What do you mean by that?
in terms of handling breaches of etiquette.
Okay, right.
Like I said, the UK and ETC have something.
They do. They have.
What do they have?
They have guidelines like.
Guidelines, and the ETC.
Like you gotta be a nice dude.
The ETC even has yellow and red cards.
Jesus.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And the UK.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
I carry red cards and yellow cards
I
around with me all the time. That'd be
don't
awesome.
like-
Just like, get out of here.
Yeah.
No,
And I'd
but-
totally hold it up in the hall and yell.
Did
You
I
gotta get a
not-
whistle.
Did I not tell you the story? I've told everyone else over the weekend. Did I not tell you the story where I threw someone out of a game as a soccer rep because he pointed at his watch like this?
Yeah, I love this story. Yeah, it's a good story.
So I was having a rough game the first game. So I go up to the coach in the second game, the game after the one I had just done. So I said, Coach, first game was kind of intense, kind of rough. I just, I'm still a little like amped up or whatever because I had to throw someone else out. And just keep your sideline calm, and we don't have any problems. Like, all right, no problem. I'll let them know. All right, so we're playing. Time is like up. I turn, and we're almost at the time, but in soccer, it's the center ref who's time.
It's the time. Yeah, you're the
If
timekeeper.
we're playing 50 minutes in a 25-minute quarter, I don't care. Whatever my time says, but we're maybe a minute or two past, whatever. The kids are playing soccer, having fun.
Yeah.
So I look to the side, and one of the parents looks at me and goes like this. Or he goes like, points at his watch. And I just point, I look and I point and go, you're out of here. He just kind of looks at me surprised and go, parking lot's over there. Coach, I told you what would happen. He's like, you told me, that's fine. I'll talk to him. And I sent him off.
That's awesome.
Just for this.
Just for pointing at his watch.
At least it wasn't flipping in the bird or something.
That's
no,
true.
I mean, I've been asked to go to parking lot and stuff, but
Did we expect seeing that much Eldar on the top table? I don't know if I expected seeing that much Eldar, but I did accurately predict that there wouldn't be any Morty or Magnus in the
Or
tops.
Primarchs.
Or Primarchs in the tops. I said that.
Yeah.
I said no
I was
Primarchs.
surprised that
I
all three
predicted
were
no
the same
Plague Burst
list.
crawlers or no. Well, there's only the one Plague Burst crawler.
There were a couple lists with them, but
Don got like what 13th place.
He got 5-1.
Yeah,
He lost the first game and then submarine.
there was only the one Plague Burst Crawler spam list.
Yeah, Don.
Yeah, Don's, yeah.
He got like 13th place from that. I think.
Yeah, he did well.
Yeah, so that's and then so what ended up happening was they played in the finals. During that time, as John alluded to, you want us to talk about it since you're so eager?
It was just great. It was during the first turn when he.
Was it? Yeah, it was the first
yeah,
turn.
the first
Yeah,
turn. They're doing stuff out, and Tony goes to move his were they Shining Spears? Yeah, move his Shining Spears, and he doesn't declare that he's going to use the stratagem.
There's a stratagem that lets him
advance and charge. So he goes, okay, and this move. Okay, they're advancing, and Nick helps him move the advancement and helps him measure everything,
Right.
all the advances. And then he goes on and he goes through the shooting phase and he goes to charge and goes, okay, well they're not charging because you didn't use your stratagem.
You didn't declare the stratagem.
Or take the CPs off. Like I'd have been okay with it. Like he had taken the CPs.
Oh, he didn't move his die or whatever.
But like there was no use of the stratagem at all. There was no declaration that he's using the stratagem. Just these guys are advancing.
Right.
And that like melted down. I wasn't there for the meltdown, but apparently melted down. Chris was there at the table. I saw him.
We for that final game we had one of the judges, Chris, sit there and basically babysit the game.
Which we always do.
Which is more it's more or less what we do every year. It's not something special we did just for this year. It's something we always do. Because we can't really do the...
Last year the top 2 tables were camped by Travis and I.
Yeah.
I camped 2, he camped 1. And the last one, he camped the last one.
Yeah, so we couldn't really do it this year because, to be honest, we were short-staffed.
Yes.
So we couldn't really do it this year because we were, at the same time, we're also running the Sunday RTTs and the team tournament, each with about 80 players. So you have almost 200 players still playing Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we had this at the side, so...
Yeah, definitely shorthanded.
Really, the top players should be able to get through a game without the refs. I mean,
to be honest, it was pretty quiet.
Yeah,
the first
my game
round.
with Nick, we called the ref over in the beginning for a rules question, but that was the only thing that we.
I mean, honestly,
I got called to your table
like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
yeah. And the only the only thing you ever called for a judge for, I think, was the thing with Kenny Boucher because you weren't sure about the wording of the rule.
Oh yeah, it was literally.
And that was
like it's on both guns. So
most of the time we got called to the table, it was not for rules of the GW rules. Yeah. It was a lot of the times it was for like, okay, so how do these GW rules interact with this mission?
Yeah.
Like with what is the Tyranid unit that doesn't count for victory points?
Spores.
It's like it doesn't count for victory points. And we're like, right, so you don't get the points for killing it. And then the guy was like, okay, but can I get the points for it being over here? I'm like, no, it doesn't count for victory points. Right. So we had to answer those types of questions, terrain questions. How does this rule interact with this type of terrain that you guys have? How does it? That was most of the stuff.
Yeah,
most of it was not like, hey, I think this guy's playing this rule wrong.
Yeah.
Like, because I think the rules are much clearer. They're not perfectly clear. There's still all kinds of ambiguities. The Reavers, for example, their stupid hook rule. You know, their stupid repelling hooks or whatever.
It's the blue line.
Yeah, and then
I feel like George Costanza.
There's a bunch of stuff that's like not 100% clear, but like you can figure it out and you can basically get through it. Oh, Angerworm clipped the Tony getting Tony. Is that what that is?
Oh, probably Tony getting Tony.
That was a classic.
Yeah.
135, 50.
Oh yeah.
I just got home and I was like watching I was like looking on stuff on Twitch and then it come up and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's pretty good.
So that happened.
Oh, that's the full one. Okay, cool. Thanks for putting the full one in there.
Yeah, you can watch all the top 8 games.
And then what else happened was on Twitter.
Diogo, your version of unclear and everybody else's version of unclear is not the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's a Canadian thing.
Yeah, but yeah, probably.
Just like how he doesn't know what 8:15 Pacific Standard Time means.
That's true.
So.
Diogo at like 5 o'clock, like, where are you guys? It's 8:15. We're like, no, it's 8:15 PST, Pacific Standard Time.
Maybe if I did, so the other thing that happened was apparently the creator of League of Legends and one of the owners of Riot Games had been watching the Twitch stream and watched what happened in that semifinal game.
I think he plays 40K, not competitively. I think he plays it for fun.
Okay, and so
like Vin Diesel.
He put out a tweet. He put out a tweet stating that he was gonna give Alex $5,000 for being such a gentleman in regards to his reaction.
He wanted to set up a $5,000 sportsmanship award
for him. And rumor is that Alex is going to donate it to the children's hospital that his wife works at.
Sweet. That's awesome.
So
he gets an award for being a good sport, and then he's a good sport and gives it away.
Yes.
Nice. That's pretty awesome.
And in the end, Nick does defeat Tony.
Yes.
So all that literally for nothing.
And it did matter. Like that, not letting him do that charge did matter.
Sure. I mean, I didn't watch the rest of the game, but I'm sure it did.
Because because now they're just sitting in they just it's so. I mean, I at that point I didn't even know when I first heard that it just blew my mind. So it's just And I feel, I mean, good for Alex. You know, even if he's giving it away, it was just so surreal.
Yeah, it was a weird experience.
Yeah.
Watching the end of that.
When you have people competing at that high level, there's going to be a lot of like intensity that comes with that. But I think you can't forget. You cannot forget. Well, you can't. The players. You can't forget that it's just a game of plastic Barbie dolls. I mean, that you paint up, and you know when you walk through the casino, you walk through the casino with your tray. And there's, and then the old guy at the slot machine looks at you like, what the fuck is going on? Look at this guy. We're in a hobby, and it's a community that's pretty small, in the general sense of other competitive games.
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering is a humongous community. You can afford to be a little bit more, cutthroat in that kind of environment. But the rules in that kind of environment are also much more structured. 40K is a game at its core that comes down to a lot of trust. The rules are written, but there's an insane amount of just like we expect each other just to play the game with the spirit of the game in mind. You're not. You could if you wanted, you see people moving 30 models.
Yes.
And each one of them is not moving 6 inches.
No.
Some are moving 8 inches, some are moving 7 inches, and you see that, and you could go like, hey, what the fuck, like, you crazy
and some people actually do.
But it's like, dude,
I got called to a table for that.
I'm moving 120 orcs across the table.
Right.
I have some moving trays, but still,
Funny, the table I got called to was an orc player.
Yeah, and it's just like, look, I mean, that's the kind of thing that you just have to kind of go, okay, like, I'm playing a game, even though I'm competitive, I want to win. I don't need to be an asshole about it. You should win because you're a skilled player.
Right.
And the only time you should really have a dispute with your opponent is if the game is running to time. And I think this is still an issue. It was a big issue in 7th edition.
Yes.
In 8th edition, the time is still...
In the semifinals and the semifinals and the quarterfinals, with Tony, time was an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, time was an issue in three of my games, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. The first game against the new player, Julio from Torrance, it was a long game because it took a long time to do everything, which is like I was fine with it. I don't care. My second game and third game, we got to 6 turns. My fourth game, we got to like turn 5, I think, and then my fifth game, we got to only turn 4, I think. But
is that Justin Curtis?
Yeah, that was Justin Curtis was turn 4.
Oh, okay, round 4.
We got to I think we got to round 5. But we split time on 5, I think.
Yeah.
And then, because I found with 8th edition, it's typically your first turn is going to take an hour and a half to finish both people's first turn. And then you should be able to finish turn 2 through 5 or 6 in the extra hour and a half that you have. Because an hour is about enough time for you to set up and take your first turn. Because the first turn is really important.
Right.
It's extremely important to get your movement right, figure out where you're going to be deploying.
Try to keep things protected that need to be protected.
And as soon as things start dying, though, it's just kind of the game snowballs into a lot faster.
Yes. Yeah, after turn 3, the turns go so fast. Yeah.
But it was most of my games we had to split time at the end, either on turn 4 or 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like when I've been playing my Grey Knights, first turn takes forever. Yeah. Because I drop everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was more or less that Sunday. We did the Sunday RTT. Some people were not happy that it was a single elimination.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still called an RTT.
Sure.
But I mean,
yeah, I feel like
it's the format that makes the most sense given the number of RTTs you're running.
Yeah.
Because each one is a separate RTT. It's not one GT with 80 players. It's
a single elimination RTT.
Because last year when we ran it as a normal RTT, people were dropping anyway.
Right.
Yeah. I remember I played in it last year, and my opponent in the second round was like, I don't even want to play.
Yeah.
We played, but it was just like,
what's
going on? I mean, this year I was supposed to play in the Shadespire tournament. Damn it.
Sorry. So do you think more balanced lists did well this tournament, or more meta build power lists were more prevalent?
Well, it's mostly Eldar, so it's probably with meta build.
I think the Eldar lists though were pretty balanced. I mean, the huge number of Reapers, the ones that spammed them to the max didn't make it.
Average seemed to about 20.
Like there was a
18
mix
to
of
20.
Eldar units.
Well,
Like
I mean,
you see Shining Spears.
Nick's list had 9.
He had a lot.
Yes.
11, 12. I think he had 3 units of 3, and then 1 unit of like 9 or something. Like that.
Right.
So 18 or something.
But he had other stuff in there. Like
Well,
it's a
It was
mix, right?
those, and then the Shining Spears and some
Wave
some
Serpents?
casters. The Wave Serpents are there to protect
They're just there, guys.
the Dark Reapers. And then you had a unit of Guardians that dropped in and could do some damage. But, the thing is I think, this is actually not based on any sort of factual knowledge.
Sure.
But what I saw at the top
Tell us your
tables-
feelings, Jeff.
Yes.
No, what I saw on the top tables when I was playing at those tables and the guys next to me and the tables next to me was a lot of lists that had a lot of answers for everything.
Right.
So it was, you need to be able to deal with big units like Magnus and Mortarion or a Knight maybe. You need to have mobility and to score objectives in the ITC mission, and you need to have some sort of durability, and you also need to have some sort of indirect ways to get guys hiding in cover, whether that's assault or whether it's indirect fire. Those are the kind of things you see. So you see Seraphim a lot, because they can jump into buildings and jack people up.
What was your way of dealing with that?
Tempest launchers?
The Tempest launchers.
Yeah, because the Tempest launchers don't need sight. And
Right.
And the ability to basically split fire
Yeah.
makes it a lot better.
Every unit's ability to shoot where they
Yeah,
want.
and so I mean, like the Eldar meta not the meta, but the Eldar list that Nick and 2 other guys who made the top 8 brought was powerful because Shining Spears are extremely good for the points. I mean, it's like less than 300 points for a unit of 9 or 10, and they can put out a good amount of firepower that has high AP, mid damage, 2 damage, and then a lot of anti-infantry fire. And the fact that they can soul burst is like, soul burst is still good, still very, very good. There's a reason why 3 of those lists, or 4 of the top Eldar lists were Inari. But also the fact that you can Death Star the shit out of that thing. You can give it a 5+, feel no pain. You can have it a 2-up save with a 3-up invulnerable save against shooting. It can move twice, it can fight twice, shoot twice. It can do a lot of things, and it has a big board presence. It can fly over screens. It can leave combat and fall back and still shoot and charge with the Eldar strategy. It can advance and charge. That's very mobile. It's a very cool unit. And then 10 Dark Reapers or 9 Dark Reapers shooting twice doesn't hurt either. Right. Dark Reapers are ridiculously good for the points. It's less than 100 points for 3 of them with a Tempest launcher, so 80 points, something like that. And they put out a good amount of firepower. But the real kicker with Dark Reapers is they always hit on 3s.
Right.
And that's, I don't think it takes a rocket science to see that they're going to change that. Whether they change the rules or whether they just increase the points, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
I would imagine that they would just increase it.
I mean, you never know. Maybe the next codex that comes out has something that's a total counter to it. So why change?
Yeah.
Why change
That's
it?
true. We're only halfway through the codex.
Yeah, I mean, we've got
We'll see the next 3 and see.
Dark Eldar, or Drukhari, Tau, Necron.
Yep.
And Necrons are like the immortal enemies of the Eldar, right?
So you may see someone. Sad clown in regards to someone acting that way while on camera. To be honest, I'm surprised it took this long. Only because we've seen it in other game systems. There was War Machine. I know it's not a real game, John.
Yeah.
But there was War Machine where a guy...
At the time it happened, it was a real game.
Right. He would put his hand down to check stuff and at the same time nudge his models forward.
Yeah.
With his
People have been caught cheating playing Magic live.
Yeah.
And Star Wars.
Yeah, X-Wing, there was a guy
X-Wing.
that would kind of look around and then kind of lift up his dial real quick and try to change it with his thumb.
Didn't someone even have like a rigged dial?
No, it wasn't a rigged dial. What he'd do is he'd act like he's just double checking his dial.
But he could
while
flick
he
it
was
real fast.
Checking, he'd fidget with it and then move it with his thumb.
Mm-hmm.
He'd change it with his thumb, and that's all on camera. So I'm not surprised someone would.
I mean, if people are trying
like
to cheat casinos,
yeah, and they're on camera.
They're on camera.
Yeah.
All the time. So it kind of doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but I mean, what we were seeing wasn't
it wasn't a cheat, but in terms of how you act.
Yeah.
You're right. In terms of your behavior.
Your behavior on camera.
Yeah, I mean, when you get games on stream, it's going to happen.
Yes. You're going to catch people.
But you would think you'd be more aware of what you're doing or what you're.
It's actually that's interesting that you say that
because you were on the stream, right?
Yeah, I was on the stream. Round 1 with Nick, and I didn't even know. I knew I was mic'd up, but I didn't. I mean, like
you did it like
you tuned out.
Yeah, I was just playing the game, sitting there having a good time. And,
right.
When I was like sitting there, and I said to myself, well, I could just give up now. But I'm like, well, I'll play it out, because people are watching, and it'd be kind of stupid to just let let those viewers just like kind of hang in the wind. And also, it's good to see like this is what it does over the course of the game. Like,
right, that's true
it's
too.
just gonna totally wreck you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
that's true.
So
Right.
That's valuable.
Going to be a trend towards power level over points. I don't agree with that.
No.
I was of that mind at first, and as we've gone in, no, I've
Jeff
changed my
has been
mind.
proven right. All these power levels.
I still think the power level is fine for things like a friendly event.
Friendly
Sure,
or
yeah, if you're
Yeah.
just teaching someone to play the game.
Yeah.
Teaching, yeah.
Teaching, narrative,
It's
friendlies,
quick and
sure.
dirty.
Yeah, it's easy.
But I think you kind of need it
Well,
now.
the
for the
reason you
competitive.
need points is so that you can make adjustments. Like, oh, Dark Reapers are too powerful. We can just pump their
Right.
without having to put a new codex with the power level. You just
Yeah,
you can,
originally
Yeah.
when they
Pump their
created,
opponents up.
when they created that whole system with the points and the power level, that's why they did that. They said
Mhm.
it's easier to adjust the points.
yeah,
and
you
not
can
to
have things
create-
like Malefic Lords. Went up to 8 points, which was way too much. But like
it was fine.
It's fine.
whatever. But that's why you have points.
Mhm.
And Primaris Marines went down in points. It's
Right.
like
But all the power levels stayed the same for all those
Yeah.
things. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Someone asked earlier what we thought of the Thousand Suns Codex that's coming out. What are your thoughts on it?
I actually haven't been reading the previews on it.
I haven't read the previews.
We were
but-
so busy getting ready for LVO, I haven't bothered to look.
No, the
I haven't even
preview-
looked at the Custode stuff, and I have Custode sitting in the other room. And I haven't even looked
All
at
I
that
know
yet.
is you take the guy with the banner, and conscripts are fearless again.
No, the Thousand Sun Codex looks interesting. I listened to a lot of the stuff with Alan on the way back on the
Oh,
drive
okay.
back,
Right,
and,
right.
we talked a lot about it.
Sorry,
There's-
by the way.
No, that's fine. But it has some interesting. They took away Magnus's reroll.
Yes.
They made him more expensive, but gave him like 3 extra spells,
Okay.
which is like a big fucking deal. Like he can only cast 3 still, or 2,
Sure.
2 or 3 still. So it's like he's still gonna. He made his super smite worse, so he has to roll. He has to roll like a 10 now.
What are the 3 new spells, though? I haven't even heard
He
that.
gets, I don't know what they are. He gets access to the Dark Hereticus Discipline from
Okay.
Chaos Space Marine, the Tzeentch Discipline,
It's gonna warp time.
and then the Tzeentch Discipline from the Chaos Demons Codex, and
Sure.
then the Thousand Suns Discipline, which I don't really know.
Okay.
What that is.
Yeah, I don't know that.
But because we were just kind of listening to someone talk about it online, so
That's
it's
cool.
like super
So if
detailed.
anyone has any other questions for us, you can go ahead and ask at this point.
Yeah,
So,
we're pretty much done.
the Swedes were there again. They'll be
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
yeah,
cool
Carl.
hanging out with the Swedes.
Well, Carl brought his girlfriend or
his
wife.
Wife, yeah.
She played orcs with the giant Stampa.
Yeah,
She had a good
That's
time.
right.
Yeah, she did play. There was a family. The dad and his sons. His sons were, I think, like I had to say like 10 or 11, and then the youngest one was maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, didn't
7 or
Anthony
8.
draw one of them last round?
Oh, with the
Wait.
blue shirts, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But here's what happened. So the younger one was in the running for Wooden Spoon, which in this year was that Infernal Pistol.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool. So I pair him with Anthony, and I kind of hinted to Anthony
Because they were
now-
both people who didn't have opponents.
Yes. Excuse me for the coughing, guys. So I pair him with Anthony. I tell Anthony kind of to, maybe beat him so that he can get the pistol thing. So I come back. They come in and turn the score. Oh, cool. What was the score? It was a tie.
No.
So I go to Anthony. I find Anthony later that day, or the next. I think the Sunday RTT.
Mhm.
I go, I think what happened. He looks at me and he's just like, I couldn't do it, man. Every time he moved his Demon Rust, he would make tank noises, like a little kid. He's a little kid,
Right,
like a little kid makes tank noises.
right.
He'd move his little man around, make noises and things like that. And he's like, I just couldn't do it. I just shot up at his like scout sentinels and.
Right.
And he'd be blowing up my raiders, and I'd be shooting at stuff, that doesn't matter, leaving Pascal alone. I just couldn't do it. So I was like, oh, so you do have a heart.
Yeah, I like
Except when it
Anthony.
comes to you, John.
Whatever, he's a good guy. I like him.
So that was cool. But the father came back to us later and thanked us because him and his boys had a wonderful time.
Good.
And so that was good. I got my annual, no, you're wrong. And then later that weekend, oh, I'm sorry, you were right. Blah, blah, blah. I get that about once a year.
Right.
Um,
Nobody ever apologized to me.
No one likes you.
That's fine.
there is that.
That's okay. This is true. I got blamed for a bunch of stuff that wasn't even my fault.
You say that.
We know it was my fault. What do you know if the guy regrets his actions or stands? If you're talking about Tony, I'm
He
not.
does not. I know that for a fact.
Okay. I'm not friends with him. I don't know.
I am not either, but from what I don't know it for a fact, but from what I heard,
Okay, dial it back, Trump. Come on.
what I heard, Or two things. One, that he was not remorseful, basically. The other thing was that he told he basically told Nick that he would have done the same thing.
Okay.
I also heard that what I thought I heard he said was that he would just do anything to win, but don't
I mean, let's not
Whatever.
talk shit on someone.
no, but I mean that's what that's hearsay, but I don't think okay, the judges, being a judge / TO, you see people in a different light. You as a player don't see it. As a judge, you see it. So for me personally, I have a different view about certain players,
Right.
or just certain players, than someone who just plays might.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because when you're a judge, you have a different relationship with the players.
Oh, it's a very different relationship, yeah.
So you in my opinion, you see them more or less at their worst, especially when things aren't going their way. So was he remorseful? In my opinion, I do not think so.
Right.
Let's put it that way. I'm not going to put.
I have
words
no
in,
idea,
I'm not
so-
going to put words in my mouth, but from what I saw, I don't think it was. And
Yeah.
if he disagrees with me, that's fine. But we all saw what happened on the Twitch stream. So
Did 8th making judging easier this year? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. We were understaffed, and if it had been 7th, we would have been.
it'd be crazy.
I would probably.
I walked
never
around
come
with
back.
I walked around with my Team Yankee rule book. Just because. But
It says right here.
Did you ever open it to like make a
No, I
ruling and freak
didn't.
people
I
out?
should have. I did walk. You know what? I did walk around with the pamphlet.
Oh yeah, the little pamphlet.
I walked around with the 12-page pamphlet, and when they had made rulebook rulings, I just used that.
I don't walk around with anything, and like most of the time, we're like, okay, where's the rule?
I did that too.
Where's the rule book? Yeah.
So Angry Worm says he says yeah, I would have.
In the video, you hear him say that in the
Yeah.
video. Yeah. You hear him say, Nick, you'd have done the same thing, and Nick says, yeah, I would have. But whatever, I don't care. It's fine.
All right.
Let me see.
Diogo, we're not making you a judge.
It's not up to us.
That's true. It's not up to us.
It's not up to us.
Actually, we don't. get
Diogo,
to say.
I'll put your name in there just about John. But you have to
That
show
means you
up.
gotta come.
Yeah, you have to show up. I'm not gonna put myself out there for you if you're not gonna show up.
This is true. Yeah.
Did games generally finish naturally? Random
No.
thing? It's not- No.
No.
Turn 4 is probably the average.
Mm-hmm.
Turn 4, yes.
I would say slightly better than 7th,
yes.
but not
much.
like
Not
significantly. Yeah, not noticeably. Like sure,
Yeah.
whatever.
You
Maybe on par. More ended.
The only kind of
Fast,
games that,
but-
in my experience from Williams, I played and the ones I watched and talked to my teammates about was, or our teammates about was that look, you get to 6 if you're killing your opponent. Or your
Yes.
opponent's killing you. Like you don't get to 6 if it's a close game.
Yeah,
No, you don't.
If
Yeah.
both
Well,
players
it
are-
depends. Like when the game I had with Alan at our tournament, we went to 6, much to my chagrin. Because if we'd gone to like 4 or 5, I would have won.
Yeah, well,
Right.
that's a big thing. Is a lot of lists are good at taking the punch and then like coming back on turn 5 and 6. Like, several times, you don't get recon turn 1 or 2,
Right.
but you can get it on turn 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's kind of like a disadvantage. You have to know that going into the tournaments. Like if you're building a list that has a good late game presence, or just because like Alan's list castles up for turn 1 and 2 and blows his opponent away,
Mhm.
and then starts moving out. So like
Right.
gunline
Yeah.
lists, a Gilman gunline, that's doing the same thing. It's sitting back, blasting its opponent for a turn or 2, and then moving forward
Yeah.
and taking it
Very
down.
slowly, which is why that list isn't as prevalent anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's too slow.
So, Angerword asked about the clocks, which comes up every tournament.
I don't know. I don't know what the solution to that is.
'Cause it's
If
not-
you're going to implement the clocks, then there has to be hard rules around them,
It's not like War Machine, unfortunately.
which
War
is the
Mach-
thing.
I'm still going to continue. War Machine has clocks, but there's not as much interaction when it's not your turn. There's some things you can do like counter charge, or when Trollbloods had the basically 5+ feel no pains, which
Yeah.
is basically how you describe it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not as much interaction. Like I don't get to roll a bucket full of dice when it's my during my opponent's turn when it's close combat.
Right.
Things like that.
Yeah.
It's
Blood
hard.
Bowl's the same way. You know,
it's
it's like
yeah.
Yes.
your turn is your turn, and your
And
opponent
that's it.
doesn't roll dice.
Yeah.
See, Blood Bowl is a lot similar to I think maybe Warhammer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so you can. I mean, but Blood Bowl has a clock.
We use a clock. Yeah.
We use a clock.
Get the
Well,
clock
most people
and-
don't, but that's a whole other issue. But like Blood Bowl has a clock. You know.
The rumored points drop is not a thing, as far as I know. I would love to see a points drop. I think that would be a good solution. However, I also don't think it makes a significant enough difference.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Not 1750.
No, even at 1500, I
No.
still think that like if
You have too many. You know what actually makes the Horde armies better
Yeah,
because you still have cheap Horde units.
yeah. Which means the games will still be long because the Horde armies take a long time.
Or you have the.
I don't know if there is a way to easily solve the game.
The way you solve it is each player has to proactively learn to play their army fast. So I'm playing Horde next season, and I have to buy some movement trays. You know, I have to figure it out really quick because
Rich Kilton used movement traits.
Yes. Every orc player I saw used them in some way, shape, or form.
When I play orcs, I'm not using movement traits out of principle.
Of course not. No, none of the crazy arguments, the online rules arguments came up. None of the crazy.
Your blue line came up.
Yeah, but that's
the
more.
only one.
Yeah, that's the only one. And I got it all 3 times it came up too.
Yeah, I didn't get any. My favorite is still when we got to ask Pete Foley about Gene Stealer Cult,
Yes.
and he's like, "That's how I play it."
And I was vindicated because I made the right calling. And I was like, the guy who wrote the book and plays it that way says this is right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was and when that guy went on stream, it never came up. He was on the stream the second day, and not a person said a word.
Well, on the stream.
Yeah,
Wow.
which to me tells me that that's a very, very niche argument in a very, very niche
Okay,
community.
well, what I came to find out what it was because the guy asked me about it,
Yeah.
and that's why we asked Pete. And it was great meeting all the GW guys.
That was cool.
We got to talk to them separate from everybody else, just because they were basically behind us running Shadespire
Yeah.
and AOS, so we could go to him if we had. Hey, how do you guys really run this? You know. So what I come to find out is and what happened to all the tournament, not just with Gene Stealer Cult.
Yes.
A lot of people were checking
constant.
lists, which is a good thing, which is why we have the BCP app. But mainly, to out their fellow faction
The
players.
person one ahead of them. Yes.
It
was constant. Yes.
It was,
funny.
and only one guy freely admitted it. He's like, I'm in the running for this, and I'm just checking everybody's list because I want to make sure I win.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Everyone else is just going, hey, I happen to see this list. I'm like, what are you in the running for? You in the running for this? Yeah. All right. Well,
Hey, that's
as long as you're honest about it. I don't
Yeah, I
care.
mean, if you're honest about it, like there needs to be someone like that. That should be a thing. Like that's self-policing
Yeah.
right there. You know, and if you should be honest about it. If you're trying to win best orc and the guy who's in front of you has made the wrong points for something, you should call him out on it. I mean, it's not a nice thing to do, but it's something that needs to be done for the community.
It's true.
As a whole.
They need to be
how,
policed.
how was the GW support staff interaction? Actually, it was for us. It was fine.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed having them there. It was fun.
It was
They were nice. They were
half of
responsive.
Half of them did miss Saturday
half of them got sick.
because they got sick.
Yeah.
But Sunday they were feeling
drunk
better
sick?
and
No, like sick. Like they caught
sick.
something.
So they were sick like beforehand.
Yeah.
But
One
it
of the
was-
guys doing the stream one day was like, every time the camera was off him, he's like chugging medicine and stuff, like just
Yeah.
trying to stay healthy enough to finish being on camera. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fine. It was fun. I got those questions. The RTT went fairly smooth. You know what? The RTT went great compared to previous years.
The little papers where you just walk up and you
Yes.
sign up and you
The
do your
team
thing.
tournament went fine. There was a little bit of a hitch because there was so many people. We had like 40 teams or something. Almost of them. Yeah, no more than that. We had like 70 teams because it was like 30-something tables. So we had that going on Sunday. Unfortunately, we had a problem with the Gladiator event because we had 20 people sign up, but only 5 people showed up.
That did suck.
And then they didn't want to play the rest of it because it was supposed to be a 2-day tournament.
Yeah.
Only 5 people showed up.
Only 5 out of the 20 who.
Jeez.
You know.
Well, that was supposed to be like
20 people bought the tickets beforehand.
Yeah.
Like 16 or so actually registered when they were there, but then the morning of, only 5 people showed up.
Yeah. And one guy was extremely upset and
Yes.
let Reese know in colorful language Which brings me to one of the points. If you want, honey is better than vinegar. Everyone knows that saying. If you want something.
It's true.
So, and, oh my God.
The minute you start cursing at somebody,
Yeah.
it's done. You're done.
And that's more or
I
less
mean,
what
but was he like requesting a refund?
it was offered and he accepted, but you still don't take that tone.
No, I mean, yeah.
Right.
But I mean, like,
But
if
he would have gotten it either way.
yeah, like,
Yes.
if he wasn't getting a refund, maybe, but
Right.
No. You know, it
I
was.
can see why someone would be upset about that. But
I
that doesn't
absolutely
mean
understand.
I
you-
would too, but I'm
you're
not
a
going to let
fucking
you
baby.
talk to me like that.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
Especially if it's not my fault
So you
that
get laid
20,
off.
16, 15 people don't show up for the thing. Like,
Yeah, we can't
what
force
do you?
people to play.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the Gladiator event was supposed to be like bring your town on, right?
Yeah,
See, I think it was
nobody brought
because
it
they
in.
left.
I think because they lifted the ban.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's the big reason.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
who signed up for that was like, oh, I can just go play.
I
in
can just
40K
play in the other
champs
40K champs. Yeah,
Yeah.
and bring all
and
whatever I
bring
want.
my town arm.
Mhm.
You know, because it's
Yeah,
1,500
if you
points,
if
but-
without the power level man, there's not really a point to the gladiator event.
Yeah, I think it was a.
Yes, sad clown whistleblowing for pure self-interest. It was unique. It was unique to that year, to this year. It never happened before. When
No.
people went checking lists and stuff like that. But I mean, that's why that's why we put the lists up,
That's why it was demanded that they be uploaded. Yeah.
and why there was no best Aldari. Because I mean, a couple of people are arguing about it. I think they still are, but we didn't have anybody that was pure Aldari. I think. I don't know. You know
Well,
what?
Aldari's like saying Imperium. It's the Imperium.
Oh yeah,
for
I don't, you know what? I don't know. I don't care. The biggest issue with Army List in terms of their faction was Eldar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, like it's because like everyone says Eldari, but you're not Eldari. There's no way. The only way you can make a pure Eldari list is to put Dark Eldar and Harlequins in the same list and not make them Yunari,
Okay.
which
Right.
no one does.
Okay.
I guarantee. Look, I don't know this for sure, but I would wager a pretty penny that every person who was Eldari main faction was Yunari.
Well, when they went through all the lists, there were no Eldari. players.
Okay. Well, no, because I think Tony was listed as a Eldari player.
No, they may have changed it. I don't know. Danny, and
One of them.
the
Anyways,
BCD
yeah,
guys.
there's
were
no
through it all.
Eldari. You can't. The only play there is a way to do it, but it would be essentially you wouldn't be playing Yunari. The only time you mix Eldar factions is if you're playing Yunari.
Right.
So because why wouldn't you? You know, because you get all the benefits.
Yeah.
So like you're either playing pure craft worlds or you're playing Yunari, and so if you see anything that or I guess Dark Eldar or Harlequins without the codexes, but no one is playing Eldari. Like
Right.
so anyone who did say, because
Yeah, I wonder if
Alan
they're gonna
registered
change-
some things as Eldari.
Yeah.
Someone was asking in one of the Facebook groups if they're going to
Change the
way
factions
they do it.
around.
I hope so.
They might.
Because the Eldar one was very, and that's why we had to change Fennel from Space Wolves to Imperium because he had 2 assassins.
Right.
Well, my first round opponent had a Nurgling unit in his Death Guard attachment, and I didn't have the heart to tell him that he didn't have objective secured. I just let him have it. I was like, that's fine.
Right.
If you're a new player, I'm like, it's like, it's in the book. So if you buy the Death Guard book,
We
you're like,
did,
look,
we did
Nurglings,
have
there
to
it
talk
is,
to
you know?
someone
We did.
about but they were just new with
They
the
were
playing.
brand new. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like if you've only played the 4 or 5 games of Age, you're not like up on the Nurglings in the fucking Death Guard book can't be included and still get the Death Guard bonuses.
Correct.
It's like
Right.
what? Why not? It's right there in my book, But
Right.
So someone's asking, will the PL ban persist with the chapter approved? No, they lifted. They lifted the PL ban as soon as
Chapter
power level
approved?
ban as soon
Yeah.
as chapter approved was
Yeah.
released.
Yeah. it hasn't
That's
been-
why there was nobody in the Gladiator.
Yeah. That's what we were saying.
And then there was the Apocalypse game, which
And we got
only-
that question a couple times. Hey, isn't the power level ban in effect? No. It's not.
That's what because Derek took a Porphyrion in
Yeah.
his RTT list.
That's right. Porphyrion.
But
Surprised I
and
wasn't
only
10.
two people showed up for only 2 people showed up for the Apocalypse game.
Aw. Did they use the scenario I wrote up?
No, there was only 2 people.
So they didn't play?
No.
I wrote that scenario for nothing?
Yes.
That was a great scenario, too.
I want to say it's not because nobody played it.
In your face, John.
So they ended up playing. I think they ended up playing each other, and that's why you have those pictures of the Titan and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Tyranid.
The Tyranid. Yeah, I put those in there.
Those are
are cool
two,
pictures.
Those were the two guys.
Mhm.
So I guess they did play it, but just played a regular game.
Played the regular game. Didn't even use my scenario, man.
No,
Well, those two couldn't have used my scenario because the objective in the center could only be taken by infantry.
Well, I mean, they had like other stuff, but
They
that
didn't have
was
any infantry.
They looked at it and they went, nah, and they just walked away.
Yeah. All right then. About time to wrap it up.
I think that's it.
No.
No other questions. We're gonna call it a night.
No. Thanks for recapping the LVO with us.
Yeah, it was lots of fun.
And thanks for Jeff for coming by and talking about his
up.
top 8 finish.
Look at that.
Top 8 out of 400 something players
I think it was
is
475. Or
that's really good.
That was
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, I was very happy to put our team into number 3 above Relentless D. Keep that in mind.
Matt dropped there. We answered it early on about the Thousand Suns Codex.
Yeah, you can listen on the podcast or
I'll put up the podcast on iTunes in the next day or two, and then it's
and I'll put this up on YouTube so you can rewatch it there.
And I guess we'll be back in about 2 weeks.
Yep.
No, 2 weeks from Thursday.
Okay,
So far, we usually do it every Thursday. We try to.
it's like bi-monthly.
What?
We do it like bi-monthly.
Bi-weekly.
No, twice a month.
That's bi-weekly.
That's bi-weekly.
Bi-monthly means every other month.
Guys, I want to use my terminology because I'm better than Adam. Okay? Don't get in the middle. Don't get in the middle of the fight, Jeff.
I'm taking his side.
You know what? I stayed the whole weekend.
This is why I like Tom, because Tom, if I tell him to get out of it, gets out of the middle of it. Jeff's like, no, I picked a side. I'm doing my side. What are you doing? There's no middle ground. I'm picking the side, and it's the right side. Fine. Yeah, we do it every 2 weeks.
About every 2 weeks. I have a special interview set up, or done. Actually, it's done. I just need to edit it for next week. So look for that. Be sure to follow the page.
Mm-hmm.
So you know when we do turn something on, just so those that have only signed up recently or you haven't seen us before, we do play PUBG a lot.
We do.
And John likes to stream it a lot.
I do.
Whether it's PC. If it's PC, you're not going to see me.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Xbox, you'll see me and Tom with
Here.
John. Or here.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't get to see it.
They don't get to see you. They see me.
Oh, you see John.
You see me. I'm the important one.
You see John.
And then you'll hear them.
You'll
I got
hear
the code for the Tomb Kings expansion for Total War 2.
You'll be able to watch John.
So I'm
play
going to stream that in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
I just picked up PUBG on my computer too.
Nice. So you'll get to see me streaming PUBG with...
if you're asking if we're not from the
Jeff.
U.S., we are. We're from Southern California.
we are.
Natives. I think you too, Jeff?
Yeah.
All right.
Born and bred.
Born and bred. All right. I guess we'll call it a night.
Thanks for watching.